What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Yay, hooray!
This week, we have a movie from this year. It came out this year, and we watched it, and we're going to talk about it. The movie is called Uncharted. Uncharted, the game, the movie, starring Spider-Man and the Transformers guy, everyone's favorite guys. It's just gonna be fun, you guys. How is everybody doing?
Not too bad. So like, fair warning, I did mention this to you guys before the episode, but I would like to mention it to the audience. So we're recording this on Tuesday, and I saw this movie on Friday. So, I barely remember anything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a fun time for everyone involved.
How about you, Diggins? How are you doing?
Well, I just saw this movie today, so I remember the movie as well as a person could. However, I may fall asleep at any moment. Because I just
incredible.
saw the movie.
Incredible. Well, I also am fine. It's all good. We're going to have a great podcast, you guys.
It's going to be the best, most high-energy podcast we've ever done.
Yep.
Nando, are you being held hostage right now? Because that "I'm also good" sounded very unconvincing. You know,
I am good, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, not much just happened. It's been a quiet couple days, you know?
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
DJ, look, Nando is blinking out in Morse code.
Oh, God.
He's saying, check the left pocket of the pants I sent you 2 months ago. Oh my God. DJ, check those pants.
I don't have those pants. I don't keep pants around.
Of course, why would you keep pants in your own home? Well, DJ, do you know where you left those pants?
I think I do. Hold on. Let me go get those pants. I'll be right back.
I thought you would say, like, India or some exotic locality.
I found them.
But I guess they were just in your house.
And right over here, 3 feet away. Okay, so the left pocket. Oh my God, it's a note. Okay, let's unfold the note. All right, the note. Let's see. It says,
it's a blank piece of paper. What could this mean?
Right. We have to get some kind of fire or some kind of. It must be an invisible ink scenario here.
Well, if what I learned from my favorite movie, National Treasure, is we don't want to use fire. We want to spritz it with lemon and then get it some light heat, and that'll that'll show the invisible ink up. So let me just hold on. I have a big jug of lemon juice I keep on hand for just these sorts of occasions. Let me just slosh it all over it.
Okay. Here.
Oh boy.
I have a lighter that barely works. This should provide us with some light heat.
Oh, what a great joke. I hope we never stop making it.
What does it say, Dickens?
Oh, hold on. It says, the secret of my kidnapping is in the hearts of my fellow man. Huh.
Hearts of my fellow man. Okay. We have to find the people that he's referring to, tear open their hearts, and find what's inside. It's probably a set of keys that we can take to a very specific place that's been around for over 500 years and insert them at the same time. That has to be it.
That's the only explanation I could think of.
All right. Okay. Well, Nando, Diggins and I are going to go find the bodies and then the keys. You take care of the podcast. All right? So we're going to go. We're going to go.
Let's get to the important stuff, you guys. We're going to talk about how my predictions are still correct. They keep going correct. Someone pointed this out the other day on Twitter. Remember that? I don't know if you remember this. Remember Warner Brothers is making a Super Smash Brothers game?
Yes.
Oh, the multiverse game? Yeah.
Yeah, the multiverse game. Year of the multiverse, baby. It never stops.
Oh, yeah. I saw a trailer
stops.
for a multiverse movie when I went to see Uncharted. Like, everywhere, all at once. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. That movie looks incredible.
That's a multiverse movie.
Everything's multiverses. It's the year of the multiverse. Lucky us. Maybe some of it will be good. Yeah.
Maybe. Like Dr. Michael Morbius at your service. A trailer I saw again before
Me too.
this
Oh my
movie.
God, they can't. Oh, I told you guys my story. I have to pull up the text, but this will be a good one for the audience. So, I had a terrible movie crowd. There was like a birthday
yourself.
party.
You were the terrible movie crowd.
I went all the way to the back of the theater to text you guys. But there was like a bachelorette party there, or like a birthday party or something. I don't know. And they were just like talking the whole time and like being rowdy. I didn't care this movie. Well, we'll talk about it. But so while the trailers were going on, there was the Michael Morbius trailer, and after the trailer happens, he says that line like, "I am Venom." I'm just kidding. It's your favorite neighborhood Michael Morbius. Just someone goes unprompted, "What a badass!" So people must be excited for this movie.
Hell yeah, he is a badass, you guys.
I can't believe Sony is just paying people to be in movie theaters when that trailer plays at this point.
I think it might have been Jared Leto.
I think it's Jared Leto in the movie theater.
Could have been.
Or any of the other stars of the movie, like Tyrese or Al Madrigal, you know? Like, maybe it's someone who has a vested interest in the movie being popular and successful.
Maybe it's Michael Keaton as maybe the Vulture?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh my god.
Movie's gonna be good. It's coming out soon, you guys. Months away. Just 2 months,
April.
maybe less. Yeah.
About a little over a month, because it's April 1st.
Yeah. We don't deserve it.
We don't.
They'll probably push
Dr.
it back.
Michael Morbius.
You know,
we haven't proven our loyalty.
Exactly. But speaking of proving loyalty, this week we watched a movie all about loyalty and, you know, trust and backstabbing and stuff. Didn't we?
Yes, we certainly did.
Yeah, we watched Uncharted. Is there like a name like Sony's Uncharted or something like that?
I think it's just Uncharted, burning in
Uncharted.
fire across your screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it is under their new production studio, PlayStation Productions or whatever. I guess entirely for making video game movies.
I mean, like, it could work. All the ones, and like video game shows, right? Because like Last of Us is on HBO.
I don't know, man. I feel like if you can't make the video game series that's just action adventure movies work, I don't know. I don't feel very confident in your abilities.
I don't know. Well, we'll get to it. But yeah, we did whatchamacallit. We did this one, Uncharted. Naughty Dog, Sony PlayStation's Uncharted. Incredible. Who starts this thing?
Diggins has the honors.
Yes, as per usual, we have our IMDb B as in spelling bee to get through. Mm-hmm. DJ, having thrown a huge tantrum last week that resulted in his ignominious defeat.
People were upset on Twitter that I did that.
Is once again our reigning loser, which means he gets to choose who gets to go first, trying to guess what the monster they've chained up in the basement has typed out for the IMDb summary of this movie.
So I think I'm going to go first because I really don't remember this movie. So in my brain, I'm like, I just have to say what I think it is, right?
I'll say this one is actually very normal. It's not one of the weird ones.
All right. Okay. Down on his luck bartender Nate Drake is recruited by Sullivan to go after a treasure worth $5 billion in gold. A lost treasure of Magellan that is over 5 billion years old.
Is that what it is? Do you want to revive that last clause?
Yeah, I think you may made a little bit of an error.
You want to revise that just a little bit? I'll give you this one chance.
Wait, what did I say?
I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to tell you till after Nando goes now.
Wait, $5 billion in gold, $5 billion in.
To be fair, DJ, without telling.
Sorry, no.
What?
I was gonna say, to be fair to DJ, I will end my summary with exactly that statement, so it cancels out.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah. Just to be fair. Okay. Let's say, young amateur archaeologist Nathan Drake teams up with a seasoned adventurer, Sully's whatever that character's name is, to hunt down the lost treasure of Magellan, and which is 5 billion years old.
Oh, five.
You said it was a 5 billion year old treasure.
Sorry.
You mixed up the age and the monetary value.
500-year-old treasure with 5 billion gold.
Oh, this is really tough because you guys both got the basic structure of it right.
Oh, and no, a tiebreaker.
I was expecting the classic Diggins where it's like, this is so tough because none of you said any of the words in the thing. And you're both poo-poo heads. But no, it's not that. It's something else.
No, it's you both did a pretty good job. You both more or less got it. And you both got like a couple words, but like different words. So it's hard to assess.
I mean, I guess it's tiebreaker time then.
I guess it's tiebreaker time. Okay. Nathan Drake and Victor Sully Sullivan, which if either of you have gotten, I would have awarded you the win.
There you go.
Actually, that's what I should have done. I should have guessed Sully's first name. Damn. But they both have adjectives describing them. Nathan's is one hyphenated word. Sully's is adjective noun.
Oh, God.
Did either of us say them during our things?
Nando, you said one of the 3 words.
Okay. So what do you want us to do, Diggins?
I want you to guess the adjectives for both characters. We'll go like maybe 3 guesses each. And then whoever gets closest wins.
Okay.
So, DJ, you get to go first.
Okay, you said Nathan's is a hyphenated word?
Yes.
Fun-loving?
Okay.
And then one for Sully?
Yeah.
Greedy.
Adjective noun for Sully.
Oh, greedy hunter.
Okay.
I'm going to say for I already forgot his name. Nathan Drake. I'm going to say amateur adventurer Nathan Drake.
Okay.
Even though I don't think that's
said, but okay.
Well, amateur dash adventurer. Is that not
sure? I mean, yeah.
Wait,
guess
what?
If it was like
what
that,
was your?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just said it was a hyphenated word.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then the other one is adjective verb, or not adjective verb, adjective noun or something.
Yeah.
Kind of what I just did, but with this one instead. For him, I'll say, I'm going to say old. What is he? I'm going to call him an old adventurer too.
Okay. DJ got one of the words.
Oh, okay.
Nando, you got 0.
Nice! I win! Yay!
What was it?
Street smart Nathan Drake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm.
Nando, you had gotten one of these in your initial summary, but didn't repeat it in your tiebreaker. Seasoned treasure hunter.
Nando asked if one of us used it.
I said yes, you got one. And then he used a different word than the one he got right initially.
So because I was right earlier but not later, it doesn't count. I see how this is. Mm-hmm. I see how this is.
Yep, that's how it is.
Diggins.
I can't be shamed.
See how this
I'm not
is.
like you and DJ. I will not be shamed out of my judgments.
I am also. I don't know. Can I be shamed? Probably not. I feel like I get whined at enough by my cat that just anything anybody says that's negative to me just sounds like that, you know? It's like, meh, meh, and then I wouldn't even recognize it. Yeah.
Is that what you
Speaking
heard
of
DJ
cats,
as last week?
Perhaps.
Wow.
Remember how this movie had a cat? The movie was good, you guys. But no, okay, so DJ won.
DJ
wah. Yep.
Yeah. So
all right.
Finally breaking his dry spell.
This is a bad losing streak, guys. This is really bad.
Might be the worst one in podcast history. Who could say?
It's possible, yeah. Anything's possible.
Through
okay,
Christ.
wow, great. So I get to give my thoughts on this movie?
Yeah.
Well, you get to do it first. We all do that every week.
Right.
For those of you who are just joining us, we all give our thoughts on the movie every week. It's kind of the whole podcast. But whoever wins the game gets to do it first, which is an incredible privilege.
Oh,
I know. Okay. Here's the full summary, because I'm supposed to do that. Hold on. The full actual summary, which, like I said, you guys basically got right.
Yes, please.
Street smart Nathan Drake is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sully Sullivan to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan and lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncada.
Ah,
That House of Moncada probably would have,
I mean,
like,
if either of you had gotten, like, one more thing, then you would have won, because you guys both got, like, 2 things exactly, more or less.
Okay.
Besides both having the general structure, correct?
That's fair.
Okay. How bad is this movie? Let me count the ways. I thought this movie was pretty bad because 1, it was very forgettable. 2, it was very boring. 3, the action scenes were super weak sauce and the puzzles were very uninteresting. And 5, I'll say this. I thought that pretty much any person who was on the screen at any given moment was bad. So there was nothing here for me. I really didn't like this movie. I don't know. What I'd like to talk about now, after you guys kind of give your thoughts, is just like I want to watch the movie where a person is like setting up these like clues for the treasure. Like I feel like in a, let's say, throw an example out there, a national treasure, if you will, they do like a pretty good job at like setting up how the puzzles work and why it was hidden this way. But like in this movie, it's just fucking puzzles, and it doesn't matter how they would have done it because half the shit would be gone. Because let's put up a Papa John's, but we'll keep it like a 500-year-old wall behind a piece of plexiglass. Like what the actual fuck? So I thought this movie was pretty atrocious, and I did not like it, and I wish the crowd in my theater was better. And I actually thought about leaving at one point, but I'm like, oh, I can't leave, even though I probably know how this shit ends. And it actually surprised me in one way by having a somehow worse ending than I thought it could have, with a lot of the, oh my God, you know what this movie was? This movie was the fucking Rick and Morty episode with the heist where it's like, actually, I backstabbed you. Actually, I backstabbed you. Actually, I backstabbed you. That was this whole stupid movie. Wow, I didn't like it. It was very bad. I'm going to stop talking now and pass it over to Nando, I guess. But did not care for this movie.
We don't need to get into it now, but I would love to hear the manifesto of why Moonfall is good and this movie is bad.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it after I say my thing, which is I think this movie is okay. I think it's horribly miscast, but if it wasn't that, I think everything else about this movie is fine and would probably work pretty well. I think all of the action stuff, I think all of the like turn the dial to make this thing go, like that's always been like the heart of this nonsense franchise. I think there's some other things about this one specifically that I think are a little like, not like implausible, but just weird. But also like, I don't know, all these movies, all these Tomb Raiders and Indiana Joneses and stuff, like you go back and it's like that walk of whatever it is, the walk of faith he has to do in Indiana Jones 3. It's like, that's not a good puzzle. That doesn't work, but only if you're watching the movie it makes any sense. But like, so I don't fault it that in that way. I think as far as characterization goes, I think it's kind of off for the main characters in how they're portrayed in the games and just like what a character like that usually is. But if you take it as like its own thing, it's fine. And yeah, it really is hard though with like Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. They're just not, I don't know. But I think it was okay. I think I liked this movie more. I definitely liked it more than Moonfall. I think I liked this movie, I don't know, like a 5. If they made another one, I'd be like, okay. This is another. Here's the biggest problem with this movie. It's not one of those it's one of those movies where the movie ends and the movie's like, all right, now we're going to do what you expected we would do in this movie in the next movie. And I hate that.
Yes. Why? What is the? Yeah. Why do you have to make a whole movie to get to the point where you actually want to be? Like, I don't just know. make the movie you want to make. Why are we doing this? It's
very true. I can't. There has to be some reason because they keep doing it, and sometimes it must work enough that, like, I don't know. I guess it's Hollywood going like, well, everything has to be an origin story. That's how Spider-Man works. That's how Batman works. So we're gonna make a movie that is like the origin story for Nathan Drake, a character who I haven't played Uncharted 1, we're like seeing too much of it, but I assume we just go right into like.
I mean,
yeah.
Uncharted 1 introduction to Nathan Drake is basically like any other game's introduction to Nathan Drake. He's already, who he is. He's been doing this for a while. He and Sully are pals. There's no like origin story to it.
Yeah, I imagine this movie was made by an algorithm, and in the sense that it was like the algorithm has decided the star of Uncharted needs to be, and then it spit out like a paper on like one of those like big old like printers that goes that you get from like computers that have artificial intelligence, and it just said Tom Holland, and then all the writers had to go like, wait a second, he's too young, and then they worked backwards and went, oh, I guess it's an origin story of young Nathan Drake. I don't know, it's fine, it's fine, it's a fine movie, everybody in it is fine. The other people in it are okay. They're not even that good either. I don't know. It's a weird movie. Diggins, what did you think?
So weirdly, I find myself in the DJ position of saying I'm kind of between you two guys.
Incredible.
In that I think the movie's kind of bad, but I don't have a visceral hatred for it the way DJ seems to. It's just...
That's fair.
I mean, listen, any movie that starts with a pointless flash forward is already at a deficit with me. I hate those. I'm on record. It's one of my least favorite tropes.
Yeah. Ricky Bobby's got to think about his whole life before he climbs back onto that airplane. Or not Ricky Bobby, goddammit, Dewey Cox. You know what it is. Like it's, yeah, just it's super pointless. Understood. Yeah.
I hate it as like a cheap, like, oh, look at all the exciting things that are going to happen. You better keep watching the movie thing. And then also it does another thing I hate where it's like you could tell the screenwriter read Save the Cat or Hero's Journey religiously because there's this whole pointless bit where Sully comes up to him and is like, we can find the treasure, your brother, blah, blah, blah. Will you join me? And Tom Holland has to refuse the call, so he says no. But then the next scene is just him coming home and calling him and going, actually, yes. With nothing to catalyze that change whatsoever. It's so stupid. Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of like little things like that bother me about this movie and make me think it's not very good. The dialogue is mostly bad. It is either unfunny quips or just the most, we need the plot to move on. Have him say what the plot is. And I also think the key conflict of the movie doesn't work because they talk about it a lot, but it doesn't actually happen, which we'll get to when we're talking about the movie. I don't want to spoil it too much. But yeah, there's, like I said, lots of little things like that. And then also, as Nando was alluding to, not a very good adaptation. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are awful casting for Nathan Drake and Sully. But I feel like I wouldn't mind that if it was like they replaced them with something else. Like these are how these characters are in this movie, and that's what we're doing. But it doesn't feel like they did replace them with anything. It feels like the characters just have no personality now, other than what the actor brings to the role of Tom Holland being like, I'm going to be kind of like Spider-Man and kind of wide-eyed and innocent. And Mark Wahlberg being like, I'm going to, commit hate crimes in my youth.
And produce Entourage. He does that too.
Produce Entourage. And it's just, I don't know. It's so generic. The action scenes all feel weightless to me. Like every time somebody tumbles off of a ledge, which is a very Uncharted thing, so I'll give him that. I don't know. It doesn't look real, which of course it's not, but that's the whole point of a movie. If you want to have a cool action scene, it's got to look at least somewhat believable or real, and it just never felt like it had any weight to it. So they weren't even like fun set pieces, which is what Uncharted should be. Like you could do anything you want with the story, but as long as it has big spectacle like set pieces in the adventure, looking for treasure, solving puzzles kind of format, I'd be like, yeah, that was basically Uncharted. But the fact that they don't do it very well makes me go, well, it's not a very good Uncharted movie. So yeah, I don't hate it. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen or anything. I probably would rather watch this than Moonfall, just because Moonfall would give me a stupidity aneurysm. But
I like the idea of a stupidity aneurysm.
But I'd rather not watch it. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's really not, though.
But it's a good movie. I liked it. Yeah, it's good.
I don't No. So, okay, I legitimately do not remember this movie. But the one thing that stuck with me was like this is where I would just like to talk with you guys to get your guys' thoughts on it, because I kind of said my piece. But the puzzles, like, what did you guys think of the puzzles? Because I thought they were batshit bananas and awful. Just very silly.
I don't know. They felt like all the rest of movies like this.
Really?
Yeah, like, I don't know. How different is this from, like, Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones? Like, to say bullshit where, like, this thing has gears in it, and if you turn this way, the gears go.
But, like,
I
it's less that and more of, like, the idea of, like, how this is, like, set up. Like, at least in, like, Tomb Raider, it's like, oh, these are ancient tombs, not touched by some ancient civilization, and, who knows how long. Oh, my God. Whereas, and I know I use the National Treasure example where it's like, oh, the founding fathers and Masons set all this up.
Yeah, the Mount Rushmore is a secret gold and treasure trove, right? That really plausible one of these, yeah.
It's so big. It's
the
so
secret
big.
gold reserve of a Native American tribe that is clearly got Mesoamerican architecture and cultural signifiers, even though they're supposedly a plains tribe. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Guys, it's huge. It's freaking huge.
Yep.
I don't know. I trust me. I get it that, like, okay, maybe I'm not using, like, the best things. Like, it just, this one, it really suspended disbelief for, like the puzzles didn't even have anything to them. It's like, okay, we got these keys, all right? Oh, we're going to put the keys in the hole. All right, where's it take us to? Oh, a sewer we could have gotten to anyway. Oh, and then it takes us to this thing. And then, oh, you got to put the key one here and then one behind a fucking Papa John's. And, like, that scene in particular, I don't know, like, drove me crazy.
I mean, I think functionally, I think there's nothing about the dungeons or whatever on a, like, I don't think they're any worse than your average movie like this kind of dungeon. I do think the only thing about them that I don't understand is I don't know. I have a lot of questions about that one you're talking about, DJ.
Yeah.
But, like, to be fair to the game, or to be fair to the movie on the grounds of the game, like, I just got done finishing a level of the game where the character just climbs all around a church, rings 4 bells, the church explodes, and then he has to go underground and then look at some pictures, and then he goes out of the church and everybody is like, well, there were people in that church? And it's like, wait a second, you live in the village with this church and no one's ever gone inside of it, and the bells rang today and nobody thought that was interesting. Then the church collapsed and nobody thought that was interesting. So, like, I don't know. I think a lot of the nonsense set pieces are usually pretty nonsense for this movie. I don't know. What about you, Diggins?
What about you, Diggins?
I mostly didn't mind the puzzles. I mean, they were stupid. However, I will say, DJ, I did, when they walked in the one puzzle into a nightclub that's just in the basement of this cathedral, I was like, what the fuck is this? What? Why did they set up a... Like, okay, you have some...
How'd they all get there?
Yeah, you have a fresco or whatever that gets preserved behind some plexiglass, but you do commercial real estate around it. Sure, that happens, I guess.
Does it?
Yeah.
Not
that happens,
not, like, super
I think.
common, but, if you live in a really old city, sometimes that sort of thing happens.
Okay.
I wouldn't say... Typically, a Papa John's is snapping that kind of thing up, but
right, yeah, I would expect it at, like, a very fancy bistro or something.
Yeah,
right.
Like
okay, yeah. Which it could have been, but no, they needed that money.
Right.
Papa John's money.
But was it a Papa John's though? Because I don't think it was a Papa John's.
Yeah,
I feel like he just said
Sully
that.
Sully specifically says, like, I'm in a Papa John's.
No, I know that, but then I looked around and I was like, this doesn't look like Papa John's though. Like, this
Well,
just
maybe
looks
were
like
they actually in a Papa
random
John's?
Sbarro or something.
As someone who has been to a Pizza Hut in London, I can tell you that those European pizza places are very different than the American incarnations.
Interesting.
Anyway,
yeah.
Like, yeah, I could believe that, but the whole, like, building a nightclub out of this hundreds of year old church basement with all the architecture and everything kept intact, like, no, come on, fuck off. That didn't happen.
Well, I think, like, the weirder part of that whole thing is they go through, like, the entire city. Like, they're not in the church. I don't think like the nightclub just seems to be an adjacent nightclub that could be down the block from the church. But it's like, what is the situation in this town with the pipes and sewage and stuff? How does anyone use it? I don't know.
Well, like, how do the people in specifically the nightclub, how'd they get there, right? Like, we're led to believe that the only way to get to this treasure is with these keys, and the keys get you beyond the church altar. That's like the thing that sets up everything, and they're just at a public place.
Like, so my guess would be that construction and digging in the 500 years since this was originally set up found this hidden chamber underground with weird, religious iconography all over it. And some real estate developer was, you know what this needs? A nightclub. And so there's just a tunnel or whatever leading down to it that didn't exist back then.
And considering how much Sully is just running around the entire town and on top of them, like, I think they are traveling a lot. And, like, when they get to that, it's just like they're nowhere near the church. They're just kind of in a different, like, I don't know, part of the thing.
Yeah.
Not like nowhere near, but like they're so... I feel like it's what Diggins said. They're just there's just a room that somebody found and went, we could turn this into a nightclub and make it like a sexy rave, like in Club Hell from the Matrix movies.
Yeah, but like, you're writing the movie, writers. Like, that's very unexciting. I don't know. It just as it's so early in the movie, it just kind of bugged me where it's like, this isn't going to be like a fun, like, treasure hunting movie. And like, it's more of like a shitty heist movie almost. I feel like with the way like the characters and structure and how everything plays out, like it doesn't have being interested in a treasure hunt. Like, yeah, there's a treasure at the end, but it wasn't much of a hunt, more of a heist in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess the Uncharted games, I feel like do straddle that line. Because like again, my very limited experience with them, that bit where he steals the cross is like right out of the fourth game. Not steal, well, yeah, like the auction scene is like right out of the fourth game, and it's just all that. It's a little bit more climbing, but it's the same shit where it's like sneak down and turn on a light and punch some guys and run away. So I do feel like, yeah, there's usually a little bit more local color in terms of like they're doing something that's close to a heist in a place that's, I don't know, like outside and vibrant, but yeah, it's the same thing where it's like, this is a historical thing that really happened, and we're just going to build all the set pieces around characters saying the word Magellan a lot and just kind of doing an action
So much Magellan.
Scene.
You wouldn't believe how much Magellan. Do you know he didn't actually circumnavigate the world?
I did know that. Actually.
Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, he died. He did die in the Philippines. And
that's what he wants you to think.
Oh. And his crew finished the voyage. It's not true that he had some secret agenda or was looking for gold or whatever. He was just looking for a Pacific route to the East Indies to open up new trade routes.
That's what you think.
And then that's what history. I think.
Yeah.
But what bothered me about that is it seemed to imply that the stated historical reason was he just wanted to see if someone could do it. And I was like, no, they did it for a reason. Like,
yeah, he just wanted to he had a lot of funding just to flex. But it was to find gold. That was the actual reason.
I'm fine with being like, actually, he was looking for gold. Oh. And where did he find all this gold? How did he gather it all up in these ships and hide it away? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about where the gold came from. No one will ever tell you. This is something.
We don't give a fuck.
This is something that is in all of the other games, more or less, that I wish this movie had more of, which is some supernatural seeming horse shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like all of the Uncharted games end with being like they're not just searching for Magellan's secret treasure. They're looking for the magical city or the curse that covers this land or whatever. And it seems for a little while like maybe the legends are true and there really is magic involved in this. And then by the end you find some just like total horseshit scientific explanation that might as well be magic for everything that's going on. But that's a big part of the Uncharted formula, I feel. And I'm kind of sad it's not in this, and it's just a totally mundane treasure hunt.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This movie's weird. Do you guys want to talk about our characters? We have two and then some others. I think we're going to probably spend a lot of time on these guys. Young Thomas Holland plays a character named Nathan Drake.
Nate.
Well, yeah.
Well, his full name is Nathan. People tend to call him Nate.
They don't say it once in the movie. I don't think they say Nathan one time.
I feel like they say it once. I feel like maybe
it may be like once, but
maybe like the nun calls him
lot.
Nathan. I think.
I mean, I also would like to. I have a feeling they probably say it at the very end scene. That one guy with the eye patch is probably like Nathan Drake, the greatest adventurer, some shit like that. Because then he is Nathan Drake. Then he is Han Solo. You know. Then he is Snake Eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Then that's when the man, like the recruiting officer for the army, when he's trying to join the army, is like, "What's your name?" Nate.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't accept 4-letter names. What's your favorite participle? Then Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because this movie has all kinds of prequel nonsense, but not that. A lot of it, to give the movie a little bit of credit, isn't incredibly heavy-handed. Like, for instance, he wears that shirt from the game, and like the cover of the game, and he puts it on, but it's not like, I'm putting on my favorite Lucky shirt that I never wore, or like, it's my brother's shirt, now I'm wearing it, and I'm him. It's just like the shirt he wears, so it kind of looks like the game. They do have one of those, though, in this movie that is, like, really made me roll my eyes pretty hard. But we'll get to that near the end. What'd you think of him, though? Is he any good in this movie?
Meh. I say.
The problem is, like I said, the character is written with no personality. So the only personality we get is from Tom Holland, which is fine. He's a, fairly charismatic actor, but it just feels very generic. It feels very bland. There's not a lot going on there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard because this isn't just like generic heist movie, right? It's based off an IP. So anyone who like really feels any kind of way about Nathan Drake is going to be like, well, this guy isn't it at all. I don't know that to be a fact, but I'm just going off the, 8 seconds of, Uncharted footage I've ever seen during like an E3 or something like that, right? I don't know, this guy doesn't feel very Nathan Drake.
Yeah, no, it's funny that Nando somewhat compared this to Solo, because Nathan Drake is very much like your Indiana Jones Han Solo type. He's like cocky and sarcastic, and he makes fun of his bad guys all the time, and and he acts really overconfident, and then things go wrong, and he's like, "Oh no,
yeah, and he's a rogue. Like, he does things that are bad and like shoots guys and doesn't go like, "I'm sorry."
I was gonna say, the first time I could tell that they were totally gotten the character wrong is when he expresses any remorse for any of the murder he does. Nathan Drake in the games has racked up a body count in the thousands, and he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Like, it's funny. Yeah, it is funny because maybe by the end we become a little bit more desensitized to it, or like the situations become pretty like bizarre, so people are just like flying off stuff, and you like, well, that guy died. But yeah, that first thing that we are shown is him going like apologizing to that guy, and you're like, by now you should have gotten over this, like, considering what you have done so far. But I guess in that point in the movie, nobody's really died around him.
Yeah, no, he hasn't killed anybody. Nobody's died. He's just done some puzzles and then got hit in the face.
Well, he's like a thief, right? Like, we kind of get that vibe from him. That he's like a quick talking thief man.
Yeah, but except
I mean, he's like
never comes up again.
The lighter, Diggins, the lighter.
What about the lighter?
The lighter exists. That's That's it. Oh man, I want to talk about the foreshadowing with that later, but let's finish this discussion first.
He does kind of feel like he's written like a Danny Ocean, where it's just like his main, I would say this Nathan Drake's main character trait is just charm. He's very charming, even though he's not really, but like that's what the movie thinks he is, or like says he is, where it's just like he's a handsome young bartender who like charms the ladies and is like, hey, you want this drink? Come on, be cool.
It was invented by Drink Smithson in the 15th century.
It's
no wonder he doesn't have any friends.
Him trying to become a mini The Rock, emulating The Rock energy.
Yes.
In that he shares a hotel room in a luxury resort with a woman he is explicitly stated to be attracted to, and yet the chemistry is flatlining. There's nothing going on.
Do you think he will ever not look 15 to you guys?
I'm sure eventually he's going to look older. I mean, nobody.
No.
I don't know.
Nando's right. To us, though, some things like stick with you. Like, I don't know. The Rock and John Cena will always be like wrestler guys to me. They're not actors. They're what you candy ass. You think you could handle this? It'll always be The Rock.
But and with him, it's like he has taken so many roles and done so many other things that seem like they're probably good. I didn't see that movie where it's like The Devil something with him and Robert Pattinson. But that seemed like a serious movie, and he probably had to do good acting in it. There was that movie where they went up his butthole that one time. They put on Apple TV Plus. I want to say it's called Cherry. Is that it?
Cherry. Wow, that would be.
You guys remember it?
No, not even a little bit.
So, okay, real quick. The movie called Cherry. It's about like an Iraq war veteran or something who like robs banks. I don't know. I didn't watch it. It was directed by the Russos. It was their first post like Avengers movie, and it was supposed to be just like kind of a pretty like jarhead kind of like whoa war man. And I think he's like addicted to drugs. But I know part of it involved him getting like a colonoscopy. I think where the camera just like goes up his butthole, but like not like exactly that way, but kind of. I don't know. Maybe I have gotten the wrong impression from this, but I believe that happens in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he does that. So it's like I don't know what else he can do to look like more of an adult or seem like a different person besides Spider-Man. I just don't know. I don't know what I would tell him if I was his agent, because he seems like he wants to not be Spider-Man. Like he's trying to do, but he can't do it.
Nathan Drake has a goddamn beard. Like he can grow a beard. Does he?
No, he doesn't.
No, he's like handsomely bestubbled, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Does Sully have a beard?
Sully has a mustache, like he does in the post-credit scene. A look Mark Wahlberg cannot pull off.
Oh God, it's Oh man, quick aside, just because I need to talk about this. Did you guys have the Father Stew trailer in your trailer lineup?
I didn't get there in time to see all of the trailers, but so I didn't see that one.
We don't have to cover it here, but I would implore everyone to look up the trailer for Father Stew. It's a Mel Gibson vehicle. Where obviously the hero is Jesus and a priest. So just take some time to look up the Father Stew trailer. It is something.
I did see a group of women looking at the Batman poster and talking about how they can't see Robert Pattinson as anyone besides Edward because they love Twilight.
Yeah,
see, that's probably a real thing. I guarantee that is a real thing.
I mean, literally, that's a thing that happened. DJ, those are real people I'm telling a story about. So, if at minimum, it's a thing for those three people.
I mean, like Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man before he was able to break out of it. I mean, his Spider-Mans weren't very good, so like that probably helped. But there used to be like the kind of Jesus curse, like the Superman curse, where like you would do one of these and you just could not be that in people's eyes. And maybe that is true for Spider-Man. I mean, like Tobey Maguire didn't really go big after 2007 when he did Spider-Man 3. So like I don't quite see that being like something that he could do here. Like I just don't see the blueprint for how to get out of this.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right, Nando.
I think he's gonna have to fake his death and come back and then be a different guy and with a mustache and beard and stuff. And then he comes out and he's like, "It was me," and then we all go, "Okay, you got it."
So it's like a reverse Avril Lavigne, where Avril Lavigne actually died in 2003, but she was replaced by a body double.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's weird because like he is. I don't know. I would like to see him with the beard. I'll say that. Like I think if he can grow a beard or some pretty distinct facial hair and change his hair, like his hair looks just like his Spider-Man hair. Nathan Drake has a specific haircut that isn't this either. It's like very like I don't know, how would you describe it, Diggins?
Nathan Drake's hair? I guess
it like falls forward and like kind of hangs out there.
Yeah, it's that kind of messy but in a perfectly coiffed styled way that actually takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, I would say like the difference between him and Tom Holland hair frequently goes back. I would say Nathan Drake hair goes forward.
Tom Holland has kind of has that Nazi haircut, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of short at the top and combed over in a wave to one side.
Yep.
Not saying anything about Tom Holland's political beliefs, just saying he has kind of a Nazi haircut.
I mean, you never know, you know? We don't know anything about Tom Holland's political beliefs. As far as I know, he's a nice young boy, but he's probably in his 30s. I don't even know how old this guy is.
25.
He's in his 20s. That's the thing.
Yeah, he better
Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland are the correct ages to be playing these characters. The problem is they both look younger than their age. Right. So it doesn't work.
I would say the other thing about him, where was I going with this? Here, Diggins, this is a question for you and me, kind of. Like, if you had to cast an actor who's working right now in this role, who is your Nathan Drake?
Oh, gosh.
Like, because honestly, I don't think Chris Pratt is very good at all of this anymore. But like a couple of years ago, back when we loved him, like that's kind of Nathan Drake. Guardians of the Galaxy is Nathan Drake in space.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
I
think that's accurate.
I mean, speaking of Nathan Drake in space, the one that everyone always wanted was Nathan Fillion, because Firefly is also Nathan Drake in space, and he also wears those little gun holsters over his shoulders, just like, you know, what's his name does.
Right.
Nathan Drake.
He's way too old now. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, they made a short video not too long ago that they produced, like, with him as Nathan Drake, like, escaping a house. It's something exciting. But you're like, oh, yeah, that looks good. Like, that's about it. They made this movie 15 years ago. I think you could get away with it. After the first Uncharted game came out. But, yeah, not now.
Well, did you know that originally, this movie has been in development hell for so long? Mark Wahlberg was attached to play Nathan Drake. And by the time they made it, he was too old. So he became Sully instead.
I have heard that.
I feel like in this movie he could have been Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I think he could have too. It just wouldn't have been the same movie, but like a movie where he is an aging adventurer guy who's like been at this for a while. That works.
I think you get him as Nathan Drake and Mel Gibson as Sully.
Oh,
honestly,
perfect.
Mel Gibson is a decent Sully. He's terrible, but like,
I mean, when you think about the amount of minorities that Nathan Drake has killed across his entire career, it does start to make a kind of sense.
I'm trying to think of like who's like a good Nathan Drake? Like Alden Ehrenreich could do it, like the little Solo kid. I do think he's just, Tom Holland has no edge. He needs an edge, and he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, he's too wholesome.
It's like Kermit the Frog. Like, he just can't, he can't do it, no matter how much he looks like the guy. But, yeah. It's like, if you didn't know what this character was, I would assume he was a bartender who just happened to become a superhero kind of later. Like, so much of his skills are bartending skills.
So,
pretty cool.
I have a question. I believe the line, aren't you too young for a bartender? It's like, aren't you a little old for prom? Like, that wasn't in the movie, right?
That was just for us in the trailer, I guess.
I can't think in what context or scene that would have happened in, because he's not recruited as a bartender.
Oh, it would have been in the bartending scene just before he makes the drink for that woman.
Yeah, it was probably like originally the two of them have an interaction, and then later when the bar is closing, he tries to recruit him, you know?
Oh, I
see. Because the outfit that he's wearing in the outfit that Mark Wahlberg is wearing when he does recruit Tom Holland at the bar is that, but with the tie undone. Because it's like a tuxedo, like prom. But yeah, I imagine they just cut that because it's a bad line. Or like, not it's a bad line, but it just doesn't work for either of those guys.
I was going to say, Nando, if that was in the movie, it would be the best line in the movie.
That's true. I feel for Tom Holland. I really do. Because he's doing all he can to be sexy and like, taking his shirt off and having all those abs and stuff. But he is just like not right for this.
I mean, not to victim blame, but I do feel like if he had the range as an actor to have that edge, he could break out of this. And because you can change your image. It's hard, but it's possible. But I just feel like he maybe not doesn't have the talent, but just doesn't have the knowledge or the skill just yet to know what he has to be doing differently to make that, like come off differently in a way where he doesn't seem so young.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. See, you like victim blaming, and that's fine. I want to not victim blame. So I'm going to say I think it's the opposite. is like, I could see a version of this where Tom Holland is like, I want to be something that isn't Spider-Man. Oh, thank God, Uncharted. That guy is not Spider-Man. And then he gets to set and they're like, okay, so we want Spider-Man. You're going to be Spider-Man in this. And then that's what he gets. And that's the movie it is. And it wasn't very good. You know who would be a great Nathan Drake? I don't know if he's too old. Pedro Pascal would be an excellent Nathan Drake.
Oh, interesting.
I could see
like,
that.
Yeah, he's like the right amount of like rugged and charming. See, it's the other thing. He's a very charming character. But I mean, yeah, I don't know, DJ. What do you think of this casting as the non-Uncharted person?
Like just the Nathan Drake or like all of it?
Just Nathan Drake, because we're gonna do Sully next, but his is weirder.
I get why they did it, but it was definitely a miss here. I'm trying to think of what I would pick. Because you're right, it's like we're just past Chris Pratt.
Holy shit, you guys! It's 22, 22, 22, 22. Amazing.
Honestly, I would have been fine with like a Liam Hemsworth type. Like, give me a number 2 Hemsworth. I think that would work here.
I guess he's kind of got the hair. Honestly, like Liam Hemsworth in those movies he's in. Yeah, that's
what I'm going with based off of. Like, he definitely has the hair for it. And like, I know that Sony like wants the biggest movie star ever because like that, like they want to draw. But like, I'm just thinking in terms of like who would fit. Like, I would do a Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, I'm not convinced he's charming enough, but I think he could probably do it.
Yeah.
What about like a Miles Teller? Miles Teller, put some glasses on him.
Yeah, he could definitely not do this role either. He might be the only person worse for this than Tom
there's
Holland.
plenty of people worse.
Yeah,
there's
that's true.
Ansel Elgort could have been worse.
Oh yeah, I mean technically there are worse people on Earth that probably shouldn't be in movies anymore. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to like think of action guys. I don't know, like Joel Kinnaman from Suicide Squad. Like that's a Nathan Drake kind of type.
We don't have good action stars like we used to. Old men yells at clouds. Me.
Yeah, go on, DJ.
Remember when we used to have action stars? We used to have men. Big, burly, white men. And they were our action stars. And we had them, and they were masculine, and they were good. You know what they did? And how they got there? They ate so much shit. Our action stars don't eat shit today, and that's why they're not good.
You know who could do it?
If our action stars ate more shit, they'd be good.
Chris Pine could do it. Speaking of our Chris's.
Ooh, Chris Pine could do it.
Yeah, he's in a close to the right age range. He's got the right kind of look and charm. He's a little bit like, I don't know, like Steve Trevor's just a perfect little Nathan Drake in a movie that's not about Nathan Drake. So, yeah, I think I could see that.
Oh, what did this is like just like such a dumb, stupid thing. How about that cameo? Because that was the voice actor for Nathan Drake,
fucking
right?
shoot,
yeah, that was Nolan North.
Yeah. Don't you dare, movie. Don't you dare. Like, it's just so dumb. I don't know. What'd you think of that cameo, DJ?
Oh, I was like, that's cute and like whatever, but I didn't think much of it. But it seemed to really bother you though.
I just want to be like, tag him in. Let that guy do it now. He's here. He's the one. You can go home, Tom Holland. He could do the rest of the movie as Nathan Drake.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like, I don't see why we're even bothering. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want him to, like, completely get rid of him, but definitely by that point where it's like, yeah, this kid isn't working as Nathan Drake, I definitely wanted another shot at, like, the real Nathan Drake, and then there he was. So, wonderful. But, yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
What about you, Diggins? What do you think of that cameo?
It was fine. It didn't bother me. It was like, oh, yeah, hey, look, it's Nolan North. Good for him, I guess. Looks older than I thought he would, honestly.
Right?
He used to be cast as, like, a lot of people would be like, he should be Nathan Drake, maybe 10 years ago. And I think 10 years ago, he probably could do it.
Yeah, just like, what's his name? David Hayter with Solid Snake. You know,
yes.
Back in the 2000s, he definitely could have done it. But now, no way.
Yeah. Also, honestly, for me, is like, in these games, I would say Nathan Drake's main skill or, like, character trait is upper body strength. Because he can just climb endlessly forever. And that's Tom Holland has that, so maybe they were just like, we need the actor with the best upper body strength, and that's what we got. It's fair. This is what we deserve.
I mean, we got to see him with his shirt off, so that was fun.
What's fun?
He's so
yeah,
ripped.
Probably for someone.
Didn't like looking at that at all. It was
like it's
really
most unpleasant part of the movie. Was looking at Tom Holland's abs.
Wait, why?
Because
I'm fascinated by this.
He looks like a child. A child shouldn't be that muscular.
Okay, I don't know. He works out. Good for him.
No, I mean, it's a
he's in amazing
perfectly
shape.
fine amount of musculature for a 25-year-old man, which he is. But it's bad to look at because he seems so young.
I was like happy in that moment for like Zendaya, the person he's actually dating in real life, and it's not like some publicity thing. Yeah,
Get it,
like that
girl.
was good for her, but otherwise, yeah. He's always been like in insane shape though, you know? In, like the Spider-Man movies, he like had that scene in his boxers, and you're like, whoa, this kid is like the most like athletic little kid. It's pretty crazy. Like, remember when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man and he like took off his shirt and was like, "Whoa, I'm a little skinnier than I was earlier." And it's like this turned him into like one of those like ripped little babies that you see in like the news. It's like,
God,
this baby
I miss when you could be a superhero and you didn't have to work out at all. That's one of my top 3 most things I'm most excited for in the Batman.
Mm-hmm. He's bringing it back, baby. And we deserve
He's
it.
giving a hope to the rest of the lazy pieces of shit out there like me that we could be superheroes one day.
Wait, is he not like super fit in the Batman?
He
As
refused
fit as
to
he
bulk
is
up.
just usually.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like, yeah, he's like a thin, relatively fit man in general. But, you know, there was some talk about him bulking up for it, you know, like every superhero actor does. And he was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I think it makes perfect sense, especially since his batsuit in this seems to be like very mechanical and armored. It's like you want to seem like you couldn't possibly fit in that thing. Like be a little skinny waif, you know. And then everybody's like, what is that? Is he Batman? No, he has no upper body strength. But then robot suit. I got another one. How about Oscar Isaac? He could be Nathan Drake. Yeah, he's like space Nathan Drake in the Star Wars movies. He'd be perfect.
My hand is over my heart. I'm just imagining it, and I'm like, there's a
Right?
smile playing across my lips in the universe we live in, where Oscar Isaac got to be Nathan Drake. I'm like,
Yeah.
But then it would probably still be this movie, and I'd be like, well,
Yeah. Aren't you a little old for prom? Aren't you a little old for prom? We're the same age. What'd you think of Sully Sullenberger, whatever the heck his name was?
Oh my god.
James T. Sullivan.
I would have preferred.
Vigilante over here, farting into the thing. I love it. So, what's this character's deal usually, Diggins?
so
Yeah, what's the
usually
lowdown?
he's like a cigar chomping, mustachioed old man who's like on the verge of a heart attack at all times. Sleazy old guy, like. His con man type is he's the sleazy old guy who's obviously up to something and you don't trust, but is chummy and seems harmless, so you kind of give it a pass. And that's how he gets you.
Yep.
And like none of that carries over to the movie version of this character whatsoever. It's just a different character. I mean, I guess there's kind of like how the central conflict is like he doesn't trust people or whatever, and I guess that kind of plays into the sleaziness aspect of Sully's character. But only vaguely. Like in the games, it's more of like I said, like a chummy thing where people are like, it's Sully, you slimy piece of shit. You're always weaseling out of stuff, and he's like, come on. And in this one, it's like Mark Wahlberg, you're always sliming your way out of stuff, you piece of shit. And he's like, that is a lie. That is what that is not true.
Oh my god. Yeah, that movie, upsetting.
So yeah,
Upsetting.
I
DJ,
feel like,
what'd you think of this?
Sorry, it's just, I said this before the movie came out. I feel like Tom Holland got all the attention as being a poor choice for Nathan Drake. I think Mark Wahlberg as Sully is by far the worst choice.
Absolutely.
It's just that character could be so fun as this, like I said, the sleazy old man but still kind of charming and chummy in a way, in a don't trust him at all sort of way. And I don't know. There's so many. I can so easily imagine some like older character actor making a meal out of that role, and instead it's just generic action man Mark Wahlberg,
Yep.
and it's such a disappointment to me.
There's so many of them too. Like so many, you could cast any fun older actor, and you're like, yeah, that'd be interesting. Both of the Russells, Kurt Russell or Russell Crowe, I'd see both of them in this and be like, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's
gonna be a
want
mess.
them
I
both
love it.
somehow. Russell Crowe could be Nathan, and then
double Russell.
Could be Sully.
That would be incredible. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, he's very, I would say you can usually just look at one of these movies, and all those other people and all those other movies we already talked about, and go, well, who does that role for that guy? It's like Woody Harrelson in the Han Solo movie. Yep, that would work. Michael Rooker in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep, that would work. Like, those guys are Southern and not Irish or whatever Sullivan is. But besides that, sure.
Sully's just American.
Yeah. Do you think they went like, we need an Irish guy because Sullivan's an Irish name, and they went to Mark Wahlberg, who's from Boston? What was the accent deal in this movie, by the way?
Was he doing
Mark
an
Wahlberg
accent?
Was doing his Mark Wahlberg. It was
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
I felt like he was just doing his Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, so like, do you think, what's his name, Tom Holland was doing his New York?
Yeah, that's his
Like
American.
he always is, because he's British, so he was definitely not doing his normal accent. He was doing something.
See, it's just, I guess it's funny because he's got New York, like, Tom Holland voice and then New York Spider-Man voice. And it's like a different voice in this.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one is way worse.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg, yeah, he's bad in this.
DJ, what do you think? Because I talked over the transition because I was so passionate about the miscasting of Sully.
Oh no, like you were like, I appreciate your video game like knowledge behind all this. I found Mark Wahlberg to be super boring. I also like, and this is true for everyone on screen at all times, I felt like no one had a character outside of just I can't trust you. This whole movie's a scam. Not the movie's a scam, but everything you're seeing is a scam. The you can't trust what your eyes are looking at. And it's like, well, this isn't really fun to watch. It's just like everyone's going to backstab each other and not be a character, just be a person who is or isn't scammed at any given moment. Yeah. Like, that's all this felt like.
It's like, I wouldn't mind him not being video game Sully if they replace him with something, but they replace him with nothing. And that's the thing. It's like, it's a movie centered around the idea of betrayals. And for betrayals to like hit hard and to, make us feel things, we have to care about the characters. And for us to care about the characters, they have to have personalities. So, failure on many counts here.
And like stakes, right? Like there was a point where I was like, maybe Antonio Banderas should get his family treasure back. Like maybe this is all fine. Like, I don't know. I wasn't really, we'll talk about it, but
there's a point of Antonio Banderas' arc where I'm like, do you need the treasure anymore? I feel like your problems have all been solved.
It really does accelerate. But I was going to say, I really didn't care about the villain until a certain thing happens, and then I was like, this movie is unbearable. Like, there is a turn where this movie thinks it's being so clever and so cool, and it was actually, like, suffocatingly annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about, and we will get to it, because, it's pretty weird.
But, no characters in this movie to speak of. So
yeah, Sully is really awful in this, and he is not charming. But I also like with him in this movie. A lot of it, I'm like, what is your skill? What do you bring to the table here? Is it that you already have all the maps and stuff?
Money, dear boy.
Yeah, I guess it is. And then it's like, well, are you rich? Like, what is your? And he's just a treasure hunter. Like, is that his job? And that's what the IMDb thing says. So I guess so. But like.
Right.
Has he hunted treasures before?
I feel like he just hires other people to do the treasure hunt. I think this is just he wants this specific treasure because it quote unquote belonged to his family. So I think he's just hiring a lot of treasure hunters, which in the Uncharted universe is just a profession people have. So, that's not out of the ordinary.
Hold on. I'm talking about Sully, right?
Oh, what about
him?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about too, Nando.
Oh, I'm sorry.
saying
I misunderstood.
Sully is like, I'm a treasure hunter. Look at all my maps. All right, Tom Holland, you tell me where to go and do all the puzzles, and I'll be here somehow. Like, I don't understand
what does his business card say? Acquisition specialist.
That sounds right.
Yeah, he's just in the Uncharted universe. That's just a career you can have where you go. There's so many lost treasures that you can just make a living out of going around the world looking at maps and finding lost treasures.
Well, and there's competition for it, right? I guess that's the other thing with it too, that it's not like, it's like one guy who does it. It's like 30 different guys are doing it.
Yeah, and one of those guys is always a rich dude who hires a bunch of generic muscle with guns to shoot everyone else. So really, it's a very dangerous profession.
Yeah. movie. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. Mark Wahlberg
know.
wasn't good. What if Mark Wahlberg died in the end, and then his brother came, and his brother was like Kurt Russell or something? That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I'll take over from here. I'm Vic Sullivan II. Well, that doesn't make sense.
Oh,
yeah, I'm also Vic Sullivan.
He's Victor Sullivan. I'm Victavian Sullivan.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's like in what's the movie Beer League where they kill the one guy
Yes.
and then he just comes back to play the brother?
Yeah. Frank the Tank. Or not Frank the Tank. What is his name? He's a name like that.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
Phil.
But
He's Phil.
Phil.
Yeah.
It was like landfill was like the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think. Yeah. I mean, I think you could easily do that and no one would care. But I don't know. Maybe people like him in this. Do you think he's a draw anymore?
Mark Wahlberg? Heck no.
Yeah. I don't either.
I just don't think there's anything there. He's the kind of guy who like Sony executives think like, oh my god, Mark Wahlberg, what a draw. The Mark Wahlberg Tom Holland team up's gonna be insane. But when really there's nothing. I had a quick thing I forgot to mention. We're talking about Tom Holland. So at the very beginning of the movie, it's like a flashback. It's like 15 years ago, and it's whatever, young Tom Holland, and then his brother, and the kid is like, I don't know, he looks like he's like 10 or 12, and then it's like 15 years later, and it's like Tom Holland today, and I'm like, that hasn't been 15 years.
Yeah.
5 at best.
It's like you drew 3 lines on his forehead with like makeup to make him look slightly older, and it's like,
I was like, 15 years, get the fuck out of here.
Speaking of that, I mean, at this point in the story, the brother is alive. So, did you think we would see the brother in this movie? Did you think he would show up?
No.
Okay.
I knew they were going to waste all their chips on one movie. I figured any setup would be for a second movie because the only purpose of this movie is to make another movie. And it was so clear just because there's like nothing here. And like I think there are some reasonable, for me, expectations that, let's just say like a Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like that movie might be good based on some stuff they set up for the first movie. I don't think that anything in any other Uncharted movie could possibly be good because they have no idea what they're doing. I even think a Moonfall 2 would be better than an Uncharted 2.
I think you can make a good Uncharted movie without anybody but if you kill Mark Wahlberg off and replace him with a similar guy, I think it could work. I don't think Tom Holland's good.
You don't even need to kill Mark. Listen, hold on. Bring back recasting. We've become so obsessed with this idea that actors and their characters are inextricably linked. And if an actor passes away or is otherwise unavailable, that just means the character's gone now. Just recast him. Who gives a shit?
Or like, so a couple things. One, at least Dumbledore was brave enough to do it, right, Diggins?
That's true.
That was long enough ago that it was not in this period where we became obsessed with not recasting.
Okay, fair enough. And 2, to your point, it then creates situations where, like, if the actor is still alive, but maybe we're doing younger versions of the character, let's say like Luke Skywalker, it means that, like, we have to keep using this guy, even though he's not, young Luke anymore.
We don't have the time for me to talk about all my feelings about that.
But, see, I also think fans of Star Wars would have been okay with the casting everyone always talks about, which is Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker, if he showed up and went, I'm Luke Skywalker, and then we kind of went forward from there. But yeah, I think Disney, I don't know. They don't have to pay a new guy a new contract, so that's probably it. But,
I would rather spend $1 billion developing new technology than pay a single human being 1 cent.
Yeah. I think there's definitely that. Although, to be fair to Marvel, especially this week, and Disney and stuff, I would understand not wanting to just have actors out there in the world on Facebook and Twitter and stuff, potentially burning their careers to the ground for no reason.
Wait, hold on. Was there a different one than the ones that have been happening, or was there just more of the old ones?
There was one from like yesterday. Did you hear about her?
Oh no! What was the yesterday one?
Someone's gonna fall into the quantum realm and come out Kate Beckinsale. That's what the internet was saying.
I did hear about this. I heard about it.
She came out real hard for the Justin Trudeau and the Nazi, like the regime of Justin Trudeau is trying to silence the brave truckers. So.
Oh no! Why do these people? Why?
I don't know.
I mean, you shouldn't be surprised. Look, they're rich, right? So it's like, fuck it. But
I mean, like, if I ever become that rich, just take all my shit away. No phones, no nothing. Don't let me tweet. Just don't do it. Put the bag in my hands and make sure I hold the bag forever. And if I take a hand off to tweet, just smack it with a ruler like I'm in Sunday school or something. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know.
More celebrities should be like Nicki Minaj, who, when asked about the war between or the conflict between NATO and Russia, was like, I don't know. I'm not taking sides. I don't know anything about it.
Nicki Minaj may be not the best version of this, but
I know about her cousin's balls.
Yeah. Someone else. I mean, like all the rest of them. I feel like, I don't know. I was talking to somebody about this today. I don't know what Chris Evans does in his real life. I feel like he's usually pretty good at this. I feel like after a certain point, I don't know. Maybe all the people swatting phones out of actors' hands are like on Paul Rudd because he's the one named Ant-Man, but they should have been split up amongst the other people. I don't know. It's crazy, but yeah.
I mean, you can pay me any amount of money to just follow a celebrity around. If they put a phone in their hand, I smack it out, and that's my only job. I would do that.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes they need to take calls from their agents and stuff. So I think it's if you see them open Twitter, it's just slap it out of their hands.
But no, just tell me to call their agent. Like, I can be the phone guy. Like, I am the proxy for the phone. Hey, check my email. What's my phone? It's like an assistant, but like really focusing on that. You can't touch your phone.
I mean, there are probably celebrities out there who think that's how phone work. That you tell a person to do a call and then the call happens. They don't even understand the physical mechanism of the phone.
I send this tweet.
I wouldn't want to like Truman Show someone necessarily, but I would like it if like I was like inside the phone and like Evangeline Lilly picks up the phone and does like her little TikTok live stream and I'm the only one that see it and I just like hit the heart button a bunch of times and she's like, people saw this and they understand my smart statement, but it doesn't go out anywhere further than that. I could do that, but yeah. So Disney actors. Where are we going with this? Oh yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Probably wouldn't have been great on Twitter in the 80s, huh? I don't expect a lot from him.
Probably wouldn't be great on Twitter now. Is he on Twitter?
If he is, I don't think I've seen any of his tweets, so probably not.
If he is, he's probably one of those guys who just gives it to their social media team and does not actually do anything with their social media.
He's probably too busy with this burger joint and stuff, you know?
Oh, guys, are we bringing back the Wahlburgers bit?
Oh my God, he didn't even eat a burger in this that I can remember.
Guys, gotta get ya, boy guys.
What a deep cut for the true fans out there.
Boy guys, it is here for your boy needs.
Oh man.
Wait, since he was in that Papa John's, is he going to be getting into wall pizzas?
Oh yeah, you betcha bottom dollar that we're gonna be getting into wall pizzas.
Mark Wahlberg, are you here now? Oh my God, I thought that was just a recording of I thought someone turned on a TV and got the Wahlburgers commercial or something, but you're here on the podcast.
I thought a heron had broken into one of my co-host's apartment and just started dying on stream.
No. DJ invited me over to talk about wall burgers and wall pizza. Look, I'm doing a huge press tour for Uncharted, so I can't stay long. But listen here, it's very important everyone go see Uncharted with me and my buddy Tom Holland. So get your wall burgers, your wall pizza, and just because I'm a great stand-up guy, I'll take one question from the Mostly Nitpicking podcast. Love it so much. All right, Nando and Diggins, what's your one question?
All right, hold on, Diggins. Me and you have to have like a little so we can make sure we don't waste our question.
Exactly.
All right, I feel like we should ask him about 1985 and his short time in jail, but I don't think he's gonna answer it.
Oh, we gotta make it sound like an Uncharted question. Like, hey, it's implied that your character Sully has kind of a checkered past. If he were to go to jail for a crime in Boston in 1985, what do you think it would be?
That's a great question. All right, I'm sure you heard that, Mark. What's the answer to that question?
Oh my God, I am nearly offended. I'm about to walk off the stage right now. I will say this: my character in Uncharted saw you stand-up guys certainly never been to jail. I, Mark Wahlberg, have never committed a crime in 1985 involving a metal pipe, two hookers' legs, and a 6-pack of Marlboro Lights. So I assure you that there's in no way implicated me in any kind of crime. So I thank you, gentlemen, for the time.
Whoa.
Nobody
In
was
Boston,
talking about
do they
you,
sell,
Mark Wahlberg.
do they sell cigarettes in 6-packs in Boston? That doesn't seem like enough cigarettes to be in the box, but maybe they're just small boxes.
No, you're confused, Nando. Marlboro Lights is the beer that they sell based off the cigarette.
Oh, okay. Spin-offs and such.
You
You ever drink a nice, cool Marlboro Light on the porch?
Yeah.
On a nice sunny day out with the dog in the yard.
Is the beer tobacco infused?
Yeah, it's sponsored by Joe the Camel. It's his Marlboro Light blend, and it's a camel spit fermentation. It's actually a big part of the process.
I'm pretty sure Camel and Marlboro are different brands, so it's amazing that they both came together to create this beer?
No. See, Marlboro Lights, the beer, are actually a product of Camel.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, what about this is confusing?
I don't know. Actually, I mean, I did just see Uncharted, so maybe my brain is a little bit broken, but...
No, but Diggins says right. Camel cigarettes makes Marlboro Light the beer. They also make Marlboro Ultra the beer and Marlboro Zero.
Nice.
What's the difference between Marlboro Light and Marlboro? I can't talk. Ultra.
So Light is just your typical light beer, right? You know, only 60 calories. Ultra actually has double the calories and malt and barley and cigarette flavor. So it's real great.
Cool.
Listen, gentlemen, I gotta run. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm gonna give you back to DJ. And remember, get your wall burgers, get your wall pizza, get your Marlboro Light beer, and we'll talk to you real soon, all right?
Great. Thank you so much for coming out, Mark.
Wow, what a weirdo. God, that guy is out of his mind. He just came in and just, like, threw me to the side and was like...
and just killed a heron right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to do my best Mark Wahlberg impression, but it was like, hey, just sit over here while I do the podcast. I was like, all right, Mark Wahlberg, jeez.
And he shotgunned a cigarette or whatever and then just went for it.
Yeah, I actually had a Marlboro Light while you guys were talking. It doesn't taste good at all.
I was going to say, wait, the beer or the cigarette?
The beer. I don't smoke the beer. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it seems like one of those things where it's like you eat a peanut butter and jelly, or not like peanut butter and jelly, but like eat like, you know, it's like how you could take a meal and blend it and drink it. And it's like, yeah, it's all going to your stomach. It's the same thing, but it doesn't work all blended. You have to eat it separately for some reason. Yeah, I feel like that's what it would be. Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. You can't drink cigarettes. Not the same experience.
You can't eat beer, I guess.
Nope. Well,
okay.
Unless you freeze it.
Yeah, or like all the beer-infused shit, you know, where it's like some beer...
Or beer cheese.
Beer battered things. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's probably not the best. It's not as good. I always feel like they're like, oh, it's like beers in it. And you're like, is it though? Will it taste like beer? Or is it just technically near beer when you make it and then you're using the fun of beer to sell me this,
right?
You know, hat or whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah, like it's all bullshit.
You know, it's bullshit. This movie.
All right, let's talk about the bullshit. So now we got the 2 stars out of the way. We can start talking about the plot, which is just they want to get these boats. Or not boats. They don't know it's boats. It might be boats.
It's gold.
Spoiler alert. They want to get the gold from Magellan's Gold Trip Reserve, whatever the fuck. Why was he out with all this gold? He got it from somewhere?
So
he found the gold in the Philippines, I think?
Yeah, the trip was to get the gold. And they were supposed to bring it back to Spain. And at first, spoilers for this incredible plot, at first we think they did bring it back to Spain, but hid it from the House of Moncada. But actually, they never took it away from the Philippines at all. They just buried it like pirates and left clues to where to find it in Spain.
Why? Why did they leave clues to find it?
Well, because what if they wanted it later and didn't remember where it was? But and also, they never go back for it.
Yeah.
For no,
and also, The clues wouldn't work today or whatever. Like, those clues have an expiration date, I feel like.
You would assume. Like, they don't, but they should. It's like, I want to say Uncharted 4, they do what is a very similar plot to this one, except it's like all the pirates had a little bank they made where they stored all their shit, and they're all dead now, and they all got killed at some point. So the bank is still there. If we go get it, we can get the money that they were just leaving there. But with this, it's like did Spain? They brought it, but we think that they brought it back to Spain.
They left it in the Philippines.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Said they couldn't find it, and then but we think they brought it back to Spain and just hid it.
How? Yeah, from who and why? Like, they just come back with all the boats and then, like, tell everybody, look over there. And then they unloaded the boat and then put all the gold into a big hole or something. It just doesn't, I just don't understand what the original legend was. Where did those boats go?
Oh, dude, fuck if I know. Like, that's what I'm saying. The movie doesn't think about the implications of what it's saying. It's just like, let's put these puzzle pieces in sequential order. Like, oh man, there's so many I could talk about. I just want to spend an hour talking about all the dumb puzzles, but we'll get there. I mean,
we could just start that now, but because that's pretty much the rest of the movie.
How the fuck did the map work? This felt like the thing from Episode 9 in Star Wars where if you hold the dagger right where the Death Star is, it'll point to the thing where it goes.
What do you mean, how did the map work? Which map or in which way?
The very end where it pointed to where the final treasure is. Yeah. I know I'm jumping ahead, but like he had the two, was it the keys or something else? And he popped off the gems and they were like compasses somehow? Get the fuck out. Who made that puzzle that? Like, that's fucking impossible. There's no way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That puzzle is the dumber, I think, very, very stupid. Diggins, before you wanted to say something about the Magellan thing.
Oh, I was double checking my facts. Because they left two ships behind, which is theoretically possible because they started with 5 and only 1 came back. So that's it's possible.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. The compass thing I also found strange because it's like he turns the little crosses into a compass and then swings them around and they touch, but not right in the middle. That wouldn't make any sense. But like he goes, the one on the right goes counterclockwise, the one on the left goes clockwise. They meet and then he's like, here, where do they meet? But if he did that the opposite way, right goes clockwise, left goes counterclockwise, they would meet also at a different place.
Mm-hmm. And earlier in the movie, we had drawn specific attention to how important it is to know exactly which direction you should turn things. But now he just guesses it right the first try and don't worry about it.
Also, like, how would they know on like that exact, like, was that the exact map they needed, I guess, and nothing happened to it in 500 years, and like like scaling didn't change, and like they didn't have longitude and latitude, so how did he find longitude and latitude on that thing? I don't know, man. It's just I know this is like
longitude and latitude does come up way too much in this movie set in the 600s or like with a 1400s
like an
mystery
ancient map. Like how would you scale that?
It's like 500 years old. It's not ancient.
That's pretty ancient. If that's not ancient, like, what is ancient?
I think of ancient as being, like, Roman stuff, like thousands of years old.
I don't know, man. Well, regardless. It was, man, it was before, like, what invention hadn't been thought of yet? Like, they didn't have the toilet? Or,
internet.
It didn't have internet? No
Roblox.
TikToks?
No
Roblox?
TikTok. Yeah.
No,
they had Fortnite, I think, but they didn't have Roblox.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. How old do you think longitude and latitude is?
Oh man, now I'm like,
it's got to be stupid old. I mean, I'm gonna say 1,000 years old.
I'm gonna say 13.
13 years.
Just kidding.
I remember when they came out with it. I was 10. We were all like we were. I was in my 20s. We were just getting done with college.
Yep.
And they were like, this is the iPhone 4. It comes with latitude and longitude.
The answer is 2,300 years.
Oh, man.
Damn it.
But, like, how good was it, you know?
Yeah, like,
it wasn't as good, but the idea of these intersecting lines around the globe, horizontal and vertical with specific coordinates, is a concept that has existed for over 2,000 years.
Sure, that makes sense.
So pre-Jesus, huh? They had longitude and latitude before they had Jesus.
I mean, we knew the Earth was round before Jesus, so I mean, it logically follows.
That's true.
But yeah, all right. So there's gold somewhere.
Yep.
There's a cross. They have one cross. They don't, but like he says they do. And it's like, all right, we need both crosses to open a door somewhere. I haven't really figured out where the door is yet.
Really quick, I want to say, so we at the very beginning, very beginning, there's the plane that we'll get back to later because flash forwards, which I hate. My least favorite trope. Oh. But then also, there's the further flash back to when he was a teen and his brother left. And I just want to highlight the incredible foreshadowing this movie uses, which is his brother's going to go to jail because they've broken into places too many times. But he runs away before the police can get him. So baby Nathan goes up to see him, sees him going away, and they have like a goodbye. They hug, whatever. I'll see you again, etc., etc., etc. Very emotional. And then after he leaves, baby Nathan picks up a piece of paper that also says goodbye.
Yeah.
And like uses the lighter thing to light it up to show the invisible ink, which exists solely so that can be foreshadowed for later because they already said goodbye. Why did we need a second one?
It's super weird because you would assume in a version of this story he would disappear one night before Nathan wakes up and the lighter would be sitting there or something on his bed, and then that would be. But no, he does. They have a whole conversation, and then he's like, it's so weird.
This is what I mean. Where really, like everything in this movie is like so functional only. It's just like, well, we got to set that up for later. So this thing is here, even though it doesn't make any sense. And all the dialogue is just, this is what the plot is. Go do the plot. Anyway.
Oh, speaking of setting up, though, I have another question for something before we start doing plot stuff. Nathan Drake is in the games is married to a blonde woman. That is not supposed to be the woman at the bar, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't think so, but I didn't remember what her name was or any details about her besides she was rich.
She is I don't think she's rich.
In the movie.
Oh, yes. I don't think we get a name for that character in the movie. Okay. The character you're thinking of in the game is Elena Fisher, who is a journalist type and is not in this movie at all.
Okay. That makes sense. But yeah. So there's some treasure in Spain. Maybe. That's what they think. And there's something that needs to be opened with keys that are crosses. Mm-hmm. Sully knows that something needs to be opened with keys, right?
Yes.
When does he find out what that is?
The same second we do, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he find that out before?
Because that's hard.
Great question, Nando.
Because, like, the keys don't say, take this to a church with a tree. That's a separate book that he has?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's what he stole with Nathan's brother, Sam, whom he claims to know, which is part of how he hooks Nathan into joining him on this adventure.
Right. Yeah, so, like, what is it? What are they? Because when we find the initial, not the initial treasure, when we finally get to the thing and like they do the whole Spain catacombs, whatever. Once we do get there, it turns out you could have probably gotten there if you had a jackhammer and you knew where to look.
Yeah,
it's like what I don't understand about this whole thing is like why does everyone want these keys instead of just try to figure out where this was buried 600 years ago? And then just go there.
Because that sounds hard.
I don't get. Yeah. Also, what are these keys? I've never understood this in games. But like it's a key. You put it in the door and it makes the door go. With what? Magnets? Why can't you just build this?
Yeah,
there's lockpicks in real life.
Yeah, it's either like a huge deadbolt, in which case you could use anything, or it does have some kind of locking mechanism that requires a specific shape to like go in and turn. But even then, like, that's a thing you can pick, probably. You probably don't, if you know where the thing is, you probably don't need the special key. Unless it's a fantasy setting and it's literally magic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to say, last thing, it doesn't seem like Antonio Banderas, who's the bad guy, would have any reason. He's not the kind of guy who's like, and I will never destroy all of these. He would take a jackhammer and bulldoze old church if he had to.
Right?
He just decides not to do
dynamite. Right? Just use dynamite.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. So initially they need the keys to open up the door. Hooray, they do it. But it then gets to a point where they need to use the keys in like two really far separations, like locations. One inside a sewer and the other at a Papa John's. And like they put both keys in and it opens the sewer door. How does that work? Even kind of. Magic? My only guess is magic.
Gears.
DJ,
I always assume with this shit it's gears.
The big shot of all the gears turning when they turn the keys. It's all these like 500-year-old gears which haven't rusted and are in perfect working condition.
Yeah.
And like how does the Papa John thing trigger are the gears just stretching across? I mean, I guess we have no sense for how far they are, but still, like...
Well, they're right on top of each other. That's part of it.
Is that so?
Yeah,
that's
like
what tracking their GPS.
Yeah,
which
that's why
brings up
Nathan
a whole new
turned
set of
on
problems.
the Find My Phone thing, so he could just follow him
I didn't know it was
underground.
clear that. But I didn't know it was clear that they were like literally right on top of each other.
Yes, they are. That was the whole thing. Is like there's a key in one place, and like there's a keyhole above ground and underground in the same location, and yeah. But I mean that makes it even stupider because then if you find the above ground one, you could just jackhammer down to the below ground one.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
In the present day, so like it doesn't make any sense.
I'm not sure the below ground one does anything except potentially kill the people down there.
It's true.
It does that, and then there's the other door that opens up when you get past it that goes to the actual place, right?
Right, but I'm saying like the key, the up top key opens up the door in the bottom that lets you go to that place where you need both keys. The bottom key seems to just fill the bottom chamber with water and almost kill you.
Also, could you take one key, open the top lock, then go to the bottom lock in the bottom place, and then open it with that key? Like,
no,
do you need
I think you do have to use both keys at the same time to open that one door.
They don't use them at the same time.
Right, but they both have to be activated at the same time.
Oh, okay. To activate the gears. The giant gears. Okay.
But like there's nothing, that's the other thing. There's nothing stopping them from just taking pictures of the keys and then just making it, 3D printing another key.
Yeah, right?
Like it's, even if you don't own the one at the auction, just Google it. Figure it out.
For a movie to do this, where it's like it's some like centuries old thing, and it's like, oh, it broke, and it's like, guys, we have technology, and they like use technology to get out of the problem. It's like, yeah, they had to use keys. They didn't have anything else. They didn't have TikTok. They couldn't look up a TikTok on how to 3D print a key or whatever.
Like, yeah, the key part is dumb. The riddle part and all the mystery and like where to dig, if that is the mystery, then it kind of works. But with this, it's like you should know what you're looking for, what the whole thing is, by just knowing that there is a keyhole somewhere in the city, and you got to find that. But I don't know.
I mean, I guess to be fair,
doesn't use a lot of brain power.
The villain doesn't have the journal, and so he doesn't know where the key needs to be used. He just knows that you need the key.
Sure.
But he also knows it's a crucifix, right?
He knows it's an altar crucifix. Specifically.
Take a wild guess, villain. All the churches in Spain. Spend a whole weekend and just go to them all and see if any of them have holes in them for stuff like this.
Not even Spain, just Barcelona.
Yeah, that's true too. Just Barcelona. And you've got all the goons, so just have everyone go to one and then just really, really comb through it. Because, yeah. I think well, okay, all right. So he gets the key, whatever. Yeah, they do the first riddle. The first riddle, let's walk through it, because I do think some of the problems will become pretty apparent as we go there. And also in this bit, we meet the two female leads of this movie. I don't want to say leads, but like supporting characters.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
One of them is like the bodyguardy kind of enforcer that works for Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, she's Antonio Banderas' right-hand woman who seems to have some sort of history with Sully.
Yes, her name is Braddock, and then later on we meet a character named Chloe.
Chloe Fraser, who is from the games.
She is also another kind of Sullivan friend in this who has some sort of relationship with him.
Yes, but she... Can I just say, I actually generally like this actress in this movie. I think she's probably doing one of the better jobs of anyone.
Yeah.
However, in her very first introductory scene, she has what might be my least favorite line read in the whole movie.
Oh, what is it?
Well, she's telling a joke, except I don't think she understands that what she's saying is a joke. So she delivers it all at once, setup and punchline with no pause in between.
Oh, what is this line? I don't remember it.
It's when she first meets them and she's like, "Who's this little kid?" And he says, "Hey, I'm my friend Sully's." And she says, "Sully doesn't have friends. I should know I'm one of them."
Oh yeah, that is a pretty bad read there.
It's like that. You need a little pause there. Sully doesn't have friends. I should know. I'm one of them. You know, she says it. She just says it so quickly. It's in the trailer, and I thought, like, it's probably just weird trailer editing because they do that kind of thing all the time, right? But no, it's like that way in the movie too. I don't know.
Yeah, that is
I don't
weird.
wanna, I don't want to harp on this actress because, again, I actually think she's pretty good in the movie, but bothered me a lot, and the show is mostly nitpicking. So,
yeah. Speaking of nitpicking things about this actress, I want to say the first time we meet her in this one scene, she's wearing a reasonable amount of makeup, some eyeshadow and stuff like that. It gets washed off in that chase. Looks like a different person to me. I was like, this is a new character. Not to say that like it makes her look worse or anything, just different. And that was confusing to me for a second. But
wow,
it's just
you heard it here
really
first,
wet.
Folks. Nando thinks women are trying to trick you by wearing makeup into thinking they're more attractive than they are. Don't get tricked by all the 5s and 6s out there into thinking they're 7s or 8s. They're just wearing lots of makeup. You know, you got to stay ahead of these dang females. Am I right, fellas?
I mean, if anything, you know, I'm just saying, if you find a woman and she seems to be wearing makeup, just dunk her in the water. And then you'll find out the truth that she's hiding, you know? Also, you know, that's like how they got witches, so that was good, right? I don't know. Maybe there was something to that. But they, it's just a weird thing. It's a weird, like, I guess, costume design, like makeup kind of thing, where you have a character who's about to get really wet, and they don't look the same as they're going to once they get wet, right after you introduce them. I don't know. They did a bad job. No, the movie's fine. I mean, this thing is the least stupid thing, but I didn't care for it. She's fine, though. I didn't like her in this because she doesn't really do anything except for be there and say that line and, like, kind of say the things that line is. But
I mean, we'll get to it, but, like, the movie concedes that she does not need to be there.
yeah.
Like,
so,
oh, my God.
When we get to the first turn with this character, I have things I want to say, but I'll wait till then.
Why don't we talk about it? We're here.
Well, so they do the first mystery together because they all, she has one cross and they now have the second cross because they stole it and stuff. So it's like, okay, we got to do this mystery. And they go to the church and let's talk it through. What happens in this scene?
So this is when they've got the keys and they're investigating and trying to find the treasure.
The tree church place.
So she wrangles them a private viewing of this cathedral somehow. Cathedrals are generally open to the public, except during services, of course.
Yeah, they say they go to midnight mass, so they just like go to it when no one's there. No.
They have to go the next day because there is going to be a midnight mass service that night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. She pays them nuns a lot of money or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they go into the downstairs because Nathan Drake looks at some floor mural and is like, there's an arrow pointing this way. That means we go this way, which shockingly is correct. And then they find the keyholes behind the Virgin Mary, behind a little, I will say, big accuracy here. You ever go to one of those nice old cathedrals in Europe, and they have all those little, what do you call them? Those little, like, prayer areas?
Vestibules sure. Or whatever.
Yeah, and they are all gated off like that. They don't let you go in them. Not because they're used by other people. You're just not allowed in them. And yeah, they turn around the Virgin Mary and do some other bullshit, and they find the keyholes, which open up the way to a secret underground chamber where they decide to split up because the clue seems to indicate that somebody needs to be up top and somebody needs to be down bottom. Nathan goes with Chloe because he's horny for her. And Sully stays up top, tracks him with his phone. They go across all of Barcelona, like we talked about before. He ends up at a Papa John's where he has to smash through some glass. Has a not that interesting fight with Joe because she catches up with them, while Chloe and Nathan have a not that interesting fight with Joe's minions, who are even less interesting than her.
One of them's Scottish, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I told you what I need to do it.
Hey, he's here too. Mark must have
Honestly,
called the minion.
Not that hard to understand. He said in the first scene where the whole joke is like, Nathan doesn't know what he's saying. He's just saying, you shouldn't have played with the big boys. Now I'm going to give you a proper Scottish welcome. It's not that hard, Nathan.
I mean,
I feel like the movie's going to great lengths to being like, you shouldn't have bought the proper thing, and I'm not going to give you a proper Scottish welcome, eh?
Well, yeah, he has a thick accent, but I mean, you ever hear a real Scotsman talk? It's indecipherable.
That's actually fair.
Yeah, I feel like you could do a version of that joke where, like, yeah, by the end it's like he's still pretending, and then everybody's like, you know what he's saying. Oh, yeah, I just want to piss this guy off. Like, this makes him angry, so it's part of my deal. But yeah, I don't know. This character doesn't, like, Nathan Drake is not particularly clever when it comes to that kind of thing, as demonstrated in this movie. So it's hard to determine any intention from him when it comes to stuff like that. But also in that scene where he cuts the power and doesn't cut the power, that guy's like, oh man, I killed you the first time. It's like, just cut the power anyway. You're just about to do it. I don't understand why Nathan goes and does this little Jackie Chan stunt instead of cutting the power.
Also, he had to spend days upon days doing pull-ups and thinking real hard about his incredibly intricate plan of, I'm going to walk into the back room and then cut the power in the circuit breaker.
It's just all of his days, you know. He's hashtag grindset man, you know. That's how he spends all of his time always. Yeah.
Nathan Drake has a Sigma grind set. He's not going to get distracted by the females, you know?
Absolutely. He is the distraction, you know, partially. Also, Sully doesn't want to pay $2 million for this cross, right? Or something. Like, he's upset about that.
He does not have that money. He's not rich.
Seems like he could come up with it if he needed to. This guy's got all his shit in his apartment.
If he needed to buy the jets tomorrow, he could get something together. He could call in some favors. And, you know, he could probably make something happen.
You should just buy it. I mean, you know, Antonio Banderas wants to buy it, but, like, I don't know. Seems like you could buy it. But also, you don't need two crosses. It's just, you really just need one. You really don't need any of them, but if you have one, I feel like you should be able to pretty much solve all of this bullshit. So they go underground. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they follow some stuff. Right.
They end up in some underground chamber. After the club, there's like a little hidey hole that the key lets you into, and they lose the minions and end up in this underground drowning chamber where the only purpose of using the key here is to drown.
And so my question, here's the thing, the biggest problem I have with all this stuff is, like, it would seem that these explorer guys in the 1400s, according to what everyone seems to believe in the moment, built all this shit. Mm-hmm. 18 guys built the secret tunnels and stuff. And no one knew about it at the time.
Nope.
How? What was that?
Not just nobody knew about it, Nando. One of the most powerful and richest families in the city, that presumably have lots of, you know, courtiers and retinues and just, you know, interests around the entire city, had no idea any of this happened.
Yeah. So they built all this shit in the city. No one found it. Enough that parts of the actual plant, like part of the thing, was built into the architecture, like we were saying, the wall of the pizza place and this underground rave thing, and the fountain and stuff. Mm-hmm. What?
Yeah, the water system that activates the drowning chamber is the same water system that powers this fountain, I guess.
Yeah, so it feels like to me like another Chamber of Secrets kind of thing, where it's like people at some point must have to look at stuff in the city and go, where does that go? Like, what are the people what do the plumbing people think is going on with this fountain? Have they never checked it? What do the guys that work at that club think that door goes to? Like the one that they pop out of, not the one that they go into, but like the one that it's like an open grate or something. And it's like,
yeah, and there's pipes and stuff. They've set up infrastructure for this club in this chamber that, as far as they can tell, goes nowhere because the secret door's not open.
And then the worst one is, so Sully, when he's doing his thing, is able to communicate with the guys because at one point, because there is there's like a sewer grate that he's able to talk to him through. You guys remember this?
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah, it leads down into the room before the treasure chamber, which means you can just, through a sewer grate, just see the door, the final door, before where they think the treasure is. If they had just looked there first, they could have skipped everything else.
A baseball hasn't ever fallen in there, and then someone's going, help, fire department, you have to get that thing in. And then the fire department's like, you know what, now that we think about it, no one's ever seen that. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not connected to anything. And
why did we even build it?
Yeah, and it's probably some mystery. And then my other question, so that has to have existed when they built the whole thing, right?
It can't have, because it's like a modern metal sewer grate. I don't think they had those back then.
So at what point did they like tear up all the shit and gone, there was like some sort of old-timey sewer grate here. I'm not sure why, but we should definitely put a newish one when we redo the whole pavement of this place. Or any minor things.
Well, but what I mean is, like, sewer systems in European cities was not I'm not sure exactly when they first got built, but it's not a given that was there at the time.
Yeah. No, I think that makes complete sense. So then my other question, and I know I'm really, like, railroading this, but I have a lot of questions,
There's so many questions.
This is my biggest question, right? So the gimmick of the hunt of this little bit is, like, one of you is in heaven and one is hell. And heaven is you're above ground and hell is you're underground. Yep. And you have to be above and below. Like the end points of this little thing are going to be in the same location.
Right.
Our heroes are able to figure that out and navigate this whole thing because Sully has a GPS tracker on Tom Holland. And he's just like following them. Like it's like the fucking Amazing Race. He's got his phone out and he's following the little circle. What did the people that made the thing in the 1400s, how did they expect anyone to ever solve this? How could two people be on different levels and communicate?
That's a great question.
It only works if you have GPS.
Maybe they had some kind of technology that we're just unaware of that was lost to time. Like maybe they had little stones that could talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, that makes about as much sense as anything. I imagine
the glass.
The only way you could do it is you'd have the bottom guy go through the whole thing. And then he would stand in the part with the sewer grate and just scream the upstairs guy's name, if there was some sort of sewer grate there. And then that guy would go, oh, okay, I'll just go meet you. Like, oh, that must be where he is. But besides that, I just don't understand who conceived of this, what they thought it would be.
I mean, in theory, I guess the 18 guys who built this never intended anyone besides themselves to do it, and they just know all the stuff already. But in that case, why leave clues? They all just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And also, yeah, I guess the way they could do it, if they were like, someone will have to solve this puzzle for fun, this is why we're doing it, you could have someone go down, do the bottom stuff, figure out where that ends, not turn the key that makes you drown. But, like, they wouldn't know not to do that. But let's say they don't. Then so two people would do that, and then one would just go back and then go up and kind of retrace their steps and now be the top person. And the two of them would work together. But, like, that's not the case. Yeah. But then, so what happens if they don't turn the key and they're drowning? Like, what if Sully never turns his key?
They die.
They just drown.
And then what? Does the chamber know to stop?
Oh, it's just keep filling with water forever.
Does it like reset and it just first
positions,
everyone?
There seems to only be enough water to fill up to the ceiling of that chamber because when they open up the thing, the water doesn't drain, but it doesn't get higher either.
That's true. I just don't get it. It's really dumb.
It is weird and dumb.
But
like
not in a
whole
cool
movie.
way.
You guys coming around to my side?
No, I don't think the movie's very good. But I think it's fine. I just feel like this middle part, all the rest of it, I was like, yeah, it's a map and the secret thing, and you open up this and it gives you a lot of that doesn't make sense, but like that's how these usually go. Is like you just need to get the thing that you put onto your map that points you at another thing, and then you go to that place, and then there's a mystery thing. But with this, it's in a city, and there's all kinds of other mechanisms within it that make even less sense. Like I'm saying, in the version of this in the game, like this happens twice kind of in Uncharted 4. One is in a church that no one goes into at all, that's completely closed down, so you're able to kind of, mess around in it. The other time they do something kind of similar to this is in just like the hills of a place where no one is. It doesn't work when there's people there, but also...
Right.
I don't know. I guess these guys can also just walk away from crazy shit and just put their heads down and blend right into the crowd. Because, like, the auction thing, we never find out how Tom Holland escaped the auction, but he did some weird shit.
No, we do.
Nobody cares?
We see him escape. He's like, I'm going to sue you. Those railings are so shoddy, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you look at that up there? Basically just does, like, points and says, look at that, and then runs away.
Right, but I guess for me, that maybe shouldn't work. Or, like, it's so much bullshit.
You don't say, Nando.
I don't say. I would never say.
Maybe it shouldn't work.
Anything else about the Spain thing? I don't know.
So I want to talk about like the turn here. So I'll just say I'll say what it is first, which is that they need the second key to open up the final door, which Sully says he's not going to do, and then gives them in a pointless point of friction. And then Chloe and Nathan go into the chamber, are like, this is the treasure, but then it turns out it's all full of salt, other than a big map that Nathan finds hidden in the salt. And then Chloe pulls a gun on him and is like, give me the map. I'm betraying you because Sully's going to betray me. And he'll betray you too because he sucks. Ask him about your brother. Then she knocks him out and leaves. Sully and Nathan have a big fight because Sully didn't tell him that Nathan's brother died in like a gunfight when they were getting the journal. He just said that he had disappeared.
Right. By the way, I have a question about something you said back then.
Yeah?
Sorry, I just want to clear this up. She gets the map and then what?
Oh, then she just leaves. She punches Nathan so he gets knocked out, and then I guess she just leaves.
How? Does she teleport out of there? Does she explode out of that club? Is there a staircase that just lets you in? How the fuck does Mark Wahlberg get in there later?
I don't know.
Like, it's all great questions.
It's so dumb. It's
it's a video game. It's a movie based on a video game, right? And with these kinds of dungeon places in video games, it always turns out that at the final end point of the dungeon, there's like a little hidden staircase or little trap door or whatever that'll take you right back to where you need to go from that point, so you don't have to backtrack through the whole thing. So she just went and found that little thing.
That makes sense. Also, why is it salt?
I don't know.
Why isn't the map just sitting in the middle of the room?
I guess
you need a little fake.
I guess the idea is it's to help preserve it, but I don't think that works for paper.
Yeah, I don't think that
it does. It preserves meat, not for 500 years, but it does preserve it.
Because it's like, oh no, it's the gold, and then they open it up, and it's like, there's no gold in here. But then it turns out there's a map in there, but it's just like, you just put the map. You don't need to make these big salt vases and shit that explode once opened. Like, this is just, they put, these 18 guys did so much extra work. I guess they were just kind of making it up as they went along, but like, they don't need this.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I have a story problem with these events. Also,
okay, yeah.
Not just a logic problem, of which there are many. So the whole like emotional crux of this movie is this thing, right? Where Sully is like kind of a sleazeball who betrays people, and it's kind of about him and Nathan building this partnership where he learns to trust and not betray Nathan, and Nathan in turn learns to trust him, and he becomes like the brother figure that he doesn't have anymore, or father figure, however you want to see it. Right?
Right.
Here's the problem with that premise. Sully never betrays a single person in this entire movie.
He half betrays Tom Holland at the auction.
Yeah, he doesn't not betray Tom Holland at the auction.
I mean,
that's all I got though.
Kinda, sorta, but like, I don't know. He doesn't seem at neither surprised nor upset that Tom Holland made it out and is like coming with him to do more adventures. You know, a betrayal indicates like the plan was that you would get caught and now I don't have to deal with you anymore. You know?
Yeah.
And so like you end up with this thing where it's like Sully is this guy who can't be trusted, and I'm just like, why? I guess he told the one stupid lie about his brother, which he didn't need to do.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like when he first explains, and it's like, yeah, Braddock killed your brother when we were getting the journal. I was like, well, that's obviously a lie. Something else happened that more directly implicates him, and that's why he didn't want to talk about it. But no, that's what happened. He's just didn't tell him for no reason.
Well, he doesn't tell him that his brother is dead, right? Because he wants to use the brother to string him along.
Yeah, it's like
I guess.
So that's the third, which is much weirder because then at the end we find out the brother was alive. So it's like Sully was lying about the thing, but it turns out he actually wasn't. And the lie is not the lie.
And also, like, honestly, hey, your brother and I were hunting this treasure. Some bad people killed him. Do you want to help me finish his life's work? It's not a bad pitch. Just use that one. Mm-hmm. And then you don't have this moment where he finds out the truth or whatever. Like, hey, I was friends with your brother. I cared about him. And I want to do this thing that mattered to him. Do you want to help me? Like, come on. But so...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, or stick with the lie. Keep going, Sully. Yeah, I know they said he's dead, but he's actually not dead. If we find the treasure, maybe we can find him. But I didn't see him die, so there's still hope, right? Like, you've no reason not to keep lying.
He's not gone, kid. He's just lost.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Also, we really point out the fact that he's been sending all these postcards that are from the places that the thing is. And Tom Holland is just not like mystified by like the secret code that's going to be in him later, but also mystified by the like, maybe I should check the church that the poster is from, or like the postcard is from.
Right? Just in case.
What the fuck is that? Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah, no, that lie point of like, oh my God, they actually can't trust each other is very stupid.
And then you also end up with Chloe's character is really weird because she's supposed to be like, you know, I can't trust Sully, etc., you know, but she's the only one betraying people, the only like non-villain betraying people in this movie. Like, yeah, think about here's how I think this movie should have been structured, or at least how this plot point should have been structured. It should have been, you know, they find the map, Chloe and Nathan are like leaving or whatever, and then there's like a gate thing or whatever that Sully triggers that Kat leaves her behind, and Sully's like, good job, kid, come on, we gotta go find that treasure. And then Chloe's really mad because she's like, you're cutting me out, and Nathan's like, what the hell, man? And Sully's like, you don't know these people, you can't trust them. And then it makes it seem like he is kind of callous and betrays people and plants that seed of doubt. And like while they're going away, you know, she can yell after Nathan, like, oh, yeah, you want to know who you're partnering with? Ask him about your brother. You know, everything would make a lot more sense. The fact that Chloe is mad at them makes a lot more sense. The fact that Nathan feels like Sully can't be trusted makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more meaningful when he doesn't betray Nathan later because we've seen him do it to someone. It's just, like, I don't understand why the movie is this way.
Yeah, I would say... that makes sense. The alternative that I think works is like, yeah, he really should have screwed over the brother, like Sam. Like, just 100% gotten him killed.
Yeah, and or at least, he should have been at fault. Like, the story should have been like, yeah, your brother died because of me. I fucked up.
Yeah, and now Sully's like, listen, because of that, I'm trying to make you work. Because I want to protect you for that reason. That's why I will fuck over everyone but you. And then Tom Holland's like, that's just another lie, like you said to my brother, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it is kind of like a Book of Boba Fett situation, or like a lot of other shows, a very Disney kind of thing, where it's like, nobody can be bad. Everybody has to have done mostly the right thing, even though there are guys that keep saying they do bad things. So we'll just have him say it a bunch, and other characters will say it about him. But like the main ones, they are nice boys that do good things. It's very stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
You guys are coming around. This movie's stupid.
Hey,
I'm proud of you guys.
I said I didn't like this movie from moment one.
No,
All right, well,
the movie's good.
I'm ready for more coming over.
Well, I mean, all of these things we've been saying about the movie, they're bad things. But you guys, we're getting to the final bit of the movie. And I'm so excited because
catching up with the flashback.
And an actor that I'm such a big fan of, a Mr. Antonio Banderas is coming. He's been waiting. We've been waiting for him to be the bad guy. And he is now holding on to the reins, and he's going to lead this movie into a climax that actually kind of works. And I'm really excited about that.
Me too.
I
actually had to leave for a while.
Besides murdering his own father to get the family fortune, which A, seems like it solves the problem he needed the treasure for in the first place. And B, this isn't the 1400s anymore. I feel like murdering your father in your own car, with your henchman slitting his throat with a knife, I feel like that's going to invite some scrutiny. That means you don't get the family fortune.
Right?
I think that's true, yeah. I feel like usually the wills have that in there, right? What is it? The thing that's in whatchamacallit in
Knives Out.
In Knives Out, yeah.
God, what's it called?
I cannot remember.
It's a clause that essentially states that if you murder someone, you cannot benefit from their will, even if you are stipulated in it.
But which awesome clause. If anybody's making a will, just throw that in there.
No, I mean that's a legal clause. You don't need it in the will.
Oh, awesome. I mean, yeah, they should have found
the Slayer
that in this
rule.
One, then.
It's called the Slayer rule.
Yeah, there you go. So like I was saying, Antonio Banderas, he's about to be the main villain of the movie. Now, I had to go to the bathroom, and I missed a bunch of stuff in the middle. What did he do? I didn't see any cool stuff with him.
Oh, he actually decided to mostly hang back on the boat. Remember that boat?
Let the henchman deal it.
So now we'll get him in the next one. He's
gonna be
the
big villain of the second movie. Yeah, he's gonna want his revenge because he's still rich because he killed his dad. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing.
They nailed it. Wow, I'm excited about that. These movies are good now.
Guys, you guys are so silly.
What happened?
Yeah,
why? What's wrong?
Diggins.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm scared to tell him because I'm worried it's gonna really upset him. So,
okay.
Should we say that he went to a farm or something?
Yeah, yeah. I got this, DJ. I got this.
All right.
Just follow my lead. Just follow my lead.
Okay, got it.
All right. So, Nando, you remember you probably went to the bathroom right as they were all boarding the plane, right? Where they all get him.
Yeah.
Well, first we get the reveal that Chloe has been working for Antonio Banderas the whole time. But he hasn't told Joe, his other employee, that she also works for them. So that instead of, working together to just keep tabs on the boys and then swoop in at the last minute to take all the stuff, they instead have pointless fights with each other and try to... He's like that Sears CEO that made every department compete with every other department because he was a crazy libertarian who thought that would make everything work better, but instead it drove the company into the ground.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's the kind of boss he is. Anyway, but they have the map because Chloe brought it to them, so they're all ready to go to the Philippines to get the treasure because that's where the treasure really is. They're all boarding the plane, loading it up with cars and supplies and mercenaries and whatnot. And they take off and they're flying to the Philippines. Antonio Banderas gives a whole big speech about all his evil plans and how he's going to be really cool and evil once he has all this money.
Yep.
And then he works himself up so much that he gets a little tired, and Joe, his right hand woman, goes, sir, you seem a little tuckered out. You gave your big evil speech, and it really kind of, I know this great farm right in India on our way to the Philippines. I think if you went there and you rested up and played for a little while with all the other rich billionaires that live on that farm, then I think that would really, help your heart out, get your health up. And then once you're nice and healthy and happy, you'll be able to enjoy all the new gold we're going to bring you.
I mean, that makes so much sense because that's kind of what I assumed it was. And there's no problems with wait a second. Why doesn't he take his car with him that he loves so much to India? You guys are lying to me to protect my my Tom Holland child brain. And I am a man, unlike Tom Holland, and I can take it. What happens to him?
We just care about you so much. All right. Well, okay. You know his right-hand woman with the weird knife that she holds backwards all the time?
Yeah.
You know her? Yeah. So, he's giving his big speech, and what she decides to do, because, she's a really good henchman, she just decides to cut Antonio Banderas' throat and kill him in front of all of the henchmen.
What?
Who I guess all agreed to this ahead of time because they all just kind of look at each other and nod.
I was thinking, how is someone not excuse me, are you paying us now? Because if not, you're fucking dead.
Antonio Banderas is dead in this?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Nando. You know how we thought that Sam, his brother, was dead, but it turns out he's alive? I mean, I watched the scene, and, normally when you cut somebody's throat, there's any amount of blood, right? But there was no blood whatsoever.
It just makes a little crayon mark on your neck. That's what it is.
So I think Antonio Banderas is wearing a false throat, and he's actually okay.
That actually makes a lot of sense. That's a good... Oh, thank God. Thank God. Between this and Doolittle 2, I don't know how he's going to find the time to make other movies. And that movie where Meryl Streep is secretly the Puerto Rican woman. One of my favorite twists of any movie. He's in that too. He's great. You ever seen that movie? It was about some sort of... It was like The Big Short, but for tax fraud. And he's in it. And he's like a talking figure who goes in the tax world, there's this haven we rich people use. And there's a woman in it who I believe is just some, phone accountant or something. She's just working in an office, and I believe she's Puerto Rican. And in the end of the movie, it's Meryl Streep. She rips all the makeup off, and it's ha, it was this lady instead. It's insane. I do remember. I don't remember what movie this is. Meryl Streep is also in it as a different character, but for some reason, this is a twist that they need to put in. Everyone should watch this.
Is this a recent movie?
Yeah, it came out 2 years ago. I mean, if you look up Meryl Streep, it's got one of those bullshit names like the world of something or some bullshit like that.
The Laundromat?
Yeah, that's it. Laundromat. Spoilers for the Laundromat. She plays 2 characters in it, and one of them is not an old white lady, that's for sure.
Huh.
Fantastic. Anyway, yeah, Antonio Banderas is in that. That Zoolander in this, baby. He's had quite a couple of years. I liked him in Zoolander, though. I almost liked him in this, but he didn't do anything.
According to Wikipedia, he's going to be in untitled 5th Indiana Jones film. So, look forward to that.
He'd be good in that. He's good. This is kind of that, and he's got charisma and he's tough and stuff.
It's true.
So that works. Yeah. I'm putting in the chat, by the way, right now, a scene from the Laundromat. You don't have to watch the whole scene, but try to guess which character in here is secretly Meryl Streep. You'll never be able to guess because it's just you'd never believe it.
I'm guessing it's Antonio Banderas.
Oh, you would think so, but actually, no. It's another character that it appears in the scene right around the 20 or the 10-minute mark or 10-second mark. It's fantastic. But yeah, Antonio Banderas, good in this movie, and he survives. What'd you think of the antagonist one with the little knife?
She is unbearable. Her whole thing is yeah, I'm a badass. Oh, I'm gonna fight everyone and blah blah, and then she just decides to kill her boss because she wasn't as good as her job as the other one, and it's this just stupid like I said, this is that Rick and Morty episode where it's actually I betray you. It's everyone has to betray the other person because the movie thinks that keeps it interesting instead of giving us consistent characters to care about or root for or anything like that. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I thought that was pretty dumb. I didn't care for the character.
I think it probably was Antonio Banderas was busy.
Oh, I mean,
so he was I'll give you 2 days on set and killed my guy. But don't use any tomato sauce on me because I don't like that. So just do the blood in post if you have time.
I will say mercenary enforcer of main bad guy betrays and kills them is not an uncommon occurrence in the Uncharted games. So they were maybe trying to replicate that idea, but they do it really badly because she does it for at no prompting for no reason, and just like everyone who was presumably being paid by Antonio Banderas and not her is just like, yeah, this is how money works. Now we have all his money because we killed him.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, that's how he got his money. Maybe he doesn't have any money, and they're just like, she's like, wait a second, he's actually poor because of that Slayer rule. If we kill him, maybe we can use this helicopter to steal a bunch of boats. That'd be pretty sick. So those helicopters, they seem expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helicopters probably are very expensive.
The ones that have, like, for the big, middle parts that are for holding stuff, very expensive helicopters. Easy to fly, too. So Tom Holland uses the compasses, and that part really is so fucking stupid.
I hate it so much. Oh my gosh. But whatever.
Now, why is he knows to go somewhere else, right?
Yes.
Why are the bad guys there?
I was wondering that myself. How did the bad guys know to get there?
So
like, they weren't spying on Tom Holland or anything. Like, what the heck?
How'd the bad guys know to get to where the treasure is?
Yeah.
It seems like when we're looking at the map,
it's the stupidest thing. So
yeah.
So first we have a little side adventure though with Nathan and Chloe, where they get separated from Sully because Sully actually just jumps out of the plane with his parachute like he was supposed to, while Nathan decides that yelling at all the people with guns while he has no gun because one of them killed his brother is a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway, then we get the whole big action scene where cargo stuff is flying out of the plane, and they jump out in a car and then onto a cargo parachute. It's honestly sounds way less exciting. It is way less exciting than it sounds.
Yeah, it's cool in the video game. I don't know why it's different, or like I don't know. There's something, it is very CGI-y.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when it's a video game where it's all just, fake CGI graphics, then like it looks cool because everything is consistent with everything else. But when it's real people flopping around on a green screen in a CGI background, it just looks much more fake. And so it doesn't feel as cool unless you use good action directing tricks to give it more weight and make it feel like there's real stuff happening here. But this movie mostly doesn't do that kind of thing, and all the action scenes feel weightless.
Yeah,
Tom Holland gets hit with a car. It doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, he's got all those abs. That's what he's been really training for. If this were Mission Impossible, they'd really do this. They'd really drop a bunch of boxes out of a plane, and Tom Cruise would jump between them and shit.
And might die.
Yeah, exactly. And Fast and Furious would have done the same shit. I think he probably really did that stunt where he jumps to the lights and swings around and stuff. But I don't see any other stunts in this movie being actual practical cool stunts, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, but anyway,
since that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say the part where they get knocked out of the plane. I did kind of appreciate seeing it again from the point of view of the not crazy girl, the one that's their friend.
Chloe.
And seeing her let all the boxes go, because I was like, why are boxes all flying off this thing at the same time? It's like, oh, this is her, and she's the reason the car is going and stuff. So I don't know. I did something about reincorporating and using it from that angle was kind of cool. Also, they did a great job with that car being a thing that I recognized in this movie as that's that red car from before. It was in every other scene. So I was very excited when I saw it in here, as it's the red car. Pretty cool.
But yeah,
also, they can just fucking fly.
Yeah.
They're Iron Man in this.
Oh yeah, they just, I mean, skydiving like that is a thing, but I think normally you don't have that much control over it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's so funny how much it's just the whole option is just anywhere in the air they could be. And they're just always next to each other, but it's not like they have wingsuits and they're gliding. It just is he puts his head forward and goes in that direction. And also when they save themselves by releasing the parachute on that box, neither of them are on top of the box. They're just both holding on, and they're not. There's no fucking way that they're just going to hold on to that box.
Oh, yes. Their arms would be ripped out of their sockets and they would die.
Yeah. Unbelievable. But yeah, I mean,
they get to the luxury resort with that Nathan pays for with Sully's credit cards he stole. And they share the most sexless night imaginable.
Yeah, they sleep in the same bed, head to toe almost. It's not even they did have some sex and we couldn't watch. It's he's a good little Christian boy who wouldn't have no sex.
Don't touch me.
He lays his sword between them to protect her chastity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he tricks her. He figures out, based on his brother's postcards, where the treasure really is, and that the villains are going to the wrong place. But she's asleep when he figures that out. So he writes down the wrong coordinates. And she betrays him because she's the only non-villain who betrays anybody in this movie, instead of Sully, the person we are constantly told betrays people.
Yep.
And she takes it and runs, and he's like, you took the wrong coordinates because I've learned not to trust people.
What if she was like, dude, what would his plan have been if, like, she waited for him, and she's like, I got the coordinates plugged in, I know where to go, we're on our way, and he's gonna like, I actually wrote down the wrong coordinates in case you lied.
So just be like,
actual coordinates.
Sorry, that was my first run at it, and I realized later I was wrong. These are the right ones.
I think you could even go like, that was a test. I didn't know if you'd betray me or not, but you didn't betray me, so we're going to go to the right one. Like, that makes...
You passed the test.
That makes sense to me. And I do think, as far as things that happen in the movie, that was the only thing that I was like, oh, good job. Like, I think I even chuckled when he revealed that wasn't the right place. Because I was like, yeah, he's learning the tricks of the trade.
But but right after that smart thing comes the dumb thing I alluded to earlier, which is he gets to the point where the treasure is by speedboat. He rents a speedboat, I guess, and drives it over to this little cave where he finds the treasure. The reason the bad guys know where the treasure is because on his way there, he drives close to the shore of the place he knows the villains are. And they look through a telescope and see him and are like, well, let's follow him.
Yep.
All he had to do was not come close to the island while he was near that one specific beach he knew they were.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
And also, like, that map, that like, they're on the right island, right?
Yeah, they're just in the wrong place on the island.
So, like, they would have found it eventually.
Especially because it's just open to the air. I'm amazed this has remained undiscovered for 400 years. And also, those ships would have rotted away into nothing in that time. They're just open to the elements.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing preserving them.
Yeah, it is weird that, like, that it's... I don't know. It's weird to me that they are close enough in this scenario to even, conceivably do this. To follow him to the place.
I mean, to be fair,
totally do.
He didn't throw them off. They had the map and just figured. We actually never find out their logic for why they think it's that point. They just say it is, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, I like without him doing the compass thing with the little, the little crosses. Like, none of it makes sense.
Maybe they just looked for places that have gold in the name and are like, well, that's where the gold must be because
right.
It's in Spanish, but the name of the little beach area they go to is just Golden Creek.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, what do they think they're going to find?
Big pile of gold.
Yeah, they just take with them. Just put it all in a bag and take that gold with you.
So why then do they have what they have later in the movie?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It's like, it would seem crazy to be like, we should bring one of these just in case it's something we need to airlift out. And then to be like, yeah, maybe bring two. Bring two of those helicopters with little lifty capabilities in them. You never know. One would be an insane ask, but yeah, they have both. Pretty good. Yeah. And Sully's there too for some reason.
Yeah, how does he know the GPS, I guess?
Yeah, just the apps. He's got all them damn apps on his phone.
Tinder? Lol.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I was trying to fuck on this trip.
Yeah, exactly. If he was like, I'm sorry, I'm an adult and I fuck people. What do you do? I stand next to him and look, I'm very nice.
I lay my sword between us while we lay in a bed chastely.
Yeah.
The nuns told me that if I ever touch a woman, the hand I touched her with would burn forever in hell.
I do think it's kind of cute for 1 second how it's like he doesn't like nuns and you're like, that's like his little, this is Snakes and Indiana Jones thing. But it doesn't go anywhere. He's just like, I don't like nuns. Yeah, and then a couple of more times people are like, remember, this fucker doesn't even like nuns. But like, I was really excited for like a nun to show up late in the game and challenge him in a way that he could not have been challenged before. And it's like, this is my one weakness, a nun with a machine gun. But they didn't do that. Real bummer. But yeah, they just go to this thing and hide in the thing. And then they like, well, the guys are going to come steal some gold and then leave, right? That's all they could possibly do.
Yeah, it's not like they find
no
two carracks, which are huge ships of the period, with barrels and barrels full of gold. And so, obviously, yeah, all they can do is like, yeah, let's, fill up a few bags, fill up our backpacks with some gold, and then go. That's all we can reasonably carry. And honestly, that much gold will still have both of us set for life. So that's fine.
Yeah. What do we want to do? Like buy the New York Jets or something that would cost $4 billion? No. We're just going to get enough money so that we can live comfortably and do more of this bullshit. Like, I don't appreciate this wealth that they're after.
But then, at that exact moment, before they can just do that and not any other stupid thing that you might think they might have been trying to do, the villains show up because they followed Tom Holland. Oh, also, yeah. The villains show up and they're like, it's our treasure now. And the only smart thing a villain does in this entire movie, she says to them, if you see either of them, shoot them immediately. Don't even let them talk.
Yep, that is smart.
But fortunately, Nathan knows about all the secret hidey holes that pirates keep in their captain's quarters. So they're able to hide out, and her minions don't find them and think that they just scurried off somewhere.
Yeah, because why would you?
And then what happens?
I guess I'm just describing the rest of the movie. They get a lot of helicopters to lift the ships up into the air and just start flying the ships out to a boat, I guess, that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big sunroof in this cave. And they
like
go
I
out
said,
through the sunroof.
It's just, you could just, if you were just looking through the jungle on this island, you could come to a point where you look down and be like, hey, look, it's two 400-year-old Spanish ships. I wonder if there's any gold in those.
Yep.
It is fucking bananas that this was like the climax of the movie. And I remember this in the trailers. I'm like, oh yeah, they put this in all the trailers. What this should have been like really exciting and cool, but it wasn't. Like, it was so meh and nothing. They did at one point, oh my god, at one point they like swung over like pirates in the air.
Yeah. That was fun, except it wasn't. But like, it could have been fun.
None of this was fun.
I don't know what it was. Too much CGI? Was that the problem? It didn't look like a real pirate ship set he was on, even though that part was definitely real. Yeah. Like, the floor he was standing on was probably wood, but even that looked kind of, a little bit off. Yeah. How fucking heavy is one of those things?
Oh, gosh.
Let's see. I'm Googling as we speak.
Hey.
Like, there's no way that helicopter could hold that, right?
I mean, I don't think it would be able to stay in one piece because, like, the wood is so old.
Forget about that part. I mean, yes, that too. It would snap into a bunch of pieces immediately and then fall to the bottom of the thing. And they'd be like, no, we wanted it all today. We didn't want to take it out piece by piece. We wanted all the gold today. But even beyond that, yeah, the idea that it's like Sully is just flying a whole boat by use of the helicopter is bananas to me.
2,000 tons when fully loaded.
Okay. And this has a shitload of gold on it, too.
That, too.
So I think it's pretty close to fully loaded.
It's probably closer to 2,000 than not.
Yeah. So I don't know how much a helicopter like that can lift, but it can't be that much. I feel like they're made to lift shipping containers and stuff like that. That's about that big. But yeah, it's just a big flying Pirates of the Caribbean fight thing. And this is the part that really got me to groan. So earlier in the bit, like before. Oh, wait, okay. Sorry.
A helicopter that is specially designed to lift heavy objects can lift as much as 44,000 pounds.
Oh my! Okay. Wait.
But Nando, 2,000 tons is roughly speaking 4 million pounds.
Oh my god. And it would be insane to be like, we need one that can lift the most things. You would get a small one, because what are you going to find that you need to get out of there so quickly? A whole ship? No. it would be a big pile, and you put the pile in some, I don't know, airlifted out. Couldn't believe their luck when they figured out it was 2 ships that they could use their stupid helicopters to pick up, but they had them. And yeah, very very handy. But yeah, this is where, so Tom Holland is like in his little Nathan Drake shirt before this scene, and he like gets all dirty, and I'm like, okay, that's like, he's kind of looks like the guy from the cover of the game. It's great. And then he beats up a guy on the pirate ship, and then he takes the little gun thingy and puts it on, and it's just like, that is the closest we got to a "Your Name is Han Solo" kind of thing in this movie.
Yeah, especially because
besides the mustache at the very end, but yeah,
some of the music from the game started playing when he did that.
Oh my god. Sure. Sounds about right. That sounds like what would happen in this. What'd you guys think of that fight? DJ, you didn't like it. Diggins, did you like it?
No, that was so boring.
I mean, I feel like it had the problem I have with a lot of the other action scenes where it felt very weightless. I mean, people were like, it's so cool in concept, and so ridiculous in concept. You have these pirate ships being lugged around by helicopters flying through the air. You have mercenaries, doing like pirate ship boarding, like swinging across the gap between them. But again, everything feels so weightless. People are getting tossed off of pirate ships, and I'm just like, okay. It doesn't feel like this person is actually tumbling off a ship to their death. It feels like they are intentionally flipping over a waist-high barrier.
Yeah.
It's like that Steven Seagal video where he touches a man on the wrist and the guy like does 7 backflips going flying away from him. I don't know. It's not that bad, but it had that kind of like, it doesn't feel like anything that's happening has any relation to the reaction.
And also, like, I feel like the idea of this scene, there is something fun about it. There's something even more fun than just boats on the water. But I can't figure out what it is, because all of what's happening is they're just 2 boats on the same level, and we're having sword fights. But, like, they're not flying these ships through a city, or, like, one isn't going over the other that much. That happens once. So, like, even though the set piece, the set piece in theory should be really fun, I don't think it does the most interesting thing with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just flying around the sea, and it's like, you might as well just have these be on the sea. I don't know, but
it should be a better premise.
I would just that would be like a much simpler thing to put together CGI wise, because it's not at super high speed. But then maybe we get to focus on the fun stuff, or have them be flying through a city and guys from other buildings just jumping onto the ship from the bottom and like climbing onto it because the ship is in 3-dimensional space. Like, I don't know. There was that one bit where the ship goes up and down and it's like, whoop. And then Tom Holland's like weightless for a second. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Have Sully do that a couple times and you'll get all these guys. Like, you and him are communicating, right? But yeah, they're not really doing that. But then Sully heroically forgoes the bag of whatever to do good thing. Isn't that good? That's nice. That's character growth, probably.
Yeah, and he uses it to hit a guy. Yay.
It confused me because at first it seems like he's struggling to save the gold from falling out of the helicopter because it ended up hanging off of a ledge or whatever. While Nathan needs him to pull him up. So you would think it would be the classic, like, oh, I'm reaching for the gold, I'm not quite there. Oh, I just want to do this and then I'll get you. But, then he stops and saves the guy. But that's not what it is. He gets the gold while Nathan still gets help. And then Nathan needs help. And then instead of just, like, putting the gold back in the helicopter and then reaching down and pulling Nathan up too, he's like, he just dithers for a little while until it's too late to do that. And so he has to throw the gold at Braddock to stop her from catching Nate.
Yeah.
Like, he had the time to get both of them because he got the gold.
Sure.
He just decided not to.
I appreciate that when she falls, she like hits the water really hard, but it's like, oh, she's fine. But then they just gotta drop the ship on her and like really seal the deal.
I always do like those when the bad guy gets their comeuppance, but then they don't, but then they do. That is fun. But another thing that really, I don't know, not like rubbed me the wrong way, because it didn't, but like bugged me a little bit, is like when Mark Wahlberg's like, these ships have, $40 billion of gold on them. And also, the ships are really old and historic and they're priceless artifacts. And both of them explode and fall to the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, it would have been nice if you saved them. You guys made everything worse. Like, were it not for you, there'd at least be 2 of these things. Maybe the bad guys would have gotten them, but we wouldn't have lost them. Also, like, what are they going to do? Sell the ships? Just tell someone they got them. I don't see how...
At the end of the movie, they're flying away because they're like, the Philippine government is here. They're going to claim all the money because it was found on their land and there's nothing we can do. I mean, that's usually what happens when you find stuff like this, is the government of that area or whatever is like, well, that's like a historical artifact. You can't just take that. But B, usually you get some amount of payout for it. Not the full value of it, of course, but yeah, you get some percentage because they want to encourage people to report these things when they find them. So
the bad guys have...
They could have probably just like flown down and said like, yeah, we found this. Some guys were trying to steal it. Whoops. I guess maybe, all the criminal activity means they should fly away. But he treats the Philippine government showing up like it means it's all over, when if you haven't done a bunch of crimes and killed a lot of people, you could just be like, yeah, we found this gold. I mean, obviously it's all yours, but we found it, so,
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And also it's like, what was I going to say? The bad guys, right, they have like a plane that a lot of shit dropped out of, and they're still close enough for a speedboat to get to where they end up stealing the things from. So, like, people are already probably on their case. This is a whole deal. And a day passes because they sleep. Tom Holland goes to sleep on the resort. So, like, I feel like the Philippine government they would have something to say about whatever's going on here. Also, the Antonio Banderas and his dad were both murdered. So that's also going to be a big deal. I just don't see the exit plan for the bad guys here. If they were able to fly these boats, where are they gonna fly them all the way to the bank? Where are they gonna put them?
Amazing. We'd like to cash these in, please.
Yeah, we got 2 boats. I don't know, but yeah, and then they're friends. That's good, right? Yep.
They're buddies
and then they
now
do the end of the movie.
For no real reason other than that he saved his life at the end there, I guess. There hasn't been anything they've done or shared in the movie that they kind of like bonded over. They don't seem to actually have much in common or like each other.
Yeah.
Except now they do, for no reason.
But then time passes and they go on adventures, I guess. Something Nazis. The ring is part of it. Oh, really quick. We didn't really talk about this. The lighter is part of it.
The stupid lighter.
So the lighter, like we said, comes up a billion times, and its whole bit is that it doesn't work, right? It's like he's flicking it and it's not lighting. You can have the lighter and fix those things.
Yeah.
Just put in a new wick. Put in more lighter fluid. It's
new flint, anything.
Yeah, I don't understand why he keeps this broken lighter and keeps trying to use it and can't.
It's his brother's or whatever.
But fix it then. Was your brother want it to not work?
I guess it was actually we missed it. The rest of that message that he used the lighter to show at the beginning, after they already had their goodbye, said, by the way, never fix this lighter. It's very important to me that it does not work properly.
It made me so angry. That it's like, well, if you're going to pick that lighter, if that's going to be something you have on you at all times, just get a fucking plastic lighter too. That's your lighter, and this is your keepsake lighter. Because you do need lighters a bunch, and this would be a good time. Like, you don't not have one because the one your brother gave you doesn't work. Just get 2. They're not super expensive. But, yeah. What'd you think of the end scene, before the end credit scene?
Like, the post credit scene,
the one where he has a mustache now.
Awful. It's no need for this. Just to set up a second movie. Why? It was. I mean, I was so done with this movie by that point. I was just kind of rolling my eyes at the Mark Wahlberg's porn stash. But
yeah, it turns out the reason he didn't do the Sully look in this movie is because he can't.
Yeah, he literally can't.
Yeah,
I do like puberty, kid.
I do like to believe that like a couple months after they were done filming, he ran into like the Sony offices and was like, "See, I grew the mustache. Can we put it in there?" And they were like, "No, we filmed it." we can't add this mustache that you grew. We could
This
put a digital one in, but we're not.
Reverse Superman.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
And he's like, all right, well, what if we film one scene where I come in and I have the mustache and everyone tells me it looks stupid? Okay, I guess. Is the cat still alive? No, we'll get a new one. Okay, great. I like that he had a cat and it's his baby now. And he has found love. I liked the cat gimmick too for a second where he's like, you were lonely,
bit.
so I got you a cat. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
The movie's a good movie. It was a very pretty cat.
A little something for everyone.
Yeah. What you think of the post-credit scene? There was a post-credit scene, you guys.
Well, the post... No. You're mixing them up. The post-credit scene is the thing we were just talking about, isn't it? And the stinger before the credits is this
you're
thing.
right.
You're
Yeah,
right.
So what do you think of the stinger?
The stinger where it turns out that the brother is a zombie. No, he's alive.
I mean, he might be a zombie.
That's true.
The brother is alive and seems to be held in some kind of hell prison, which is where he is in the fourth game when he shows up for the first time.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to play the brother when they make a second one of these, if they ever do?
Tom Holland
the head
again.
Was down, so literally anyone.
That would be amazing.
It's going to be like Lindsay
what do you
Lohan
think?
in The Parent Trap. Tom Holland is just playing both of them,
but with like a beard and like a wig, and that would be fun. What do you think, DJ?
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess stick with my Miles Teller. I really feel good about Miles Teller.
Okay.
Sticking with that.
Well, it's gonna be Chris Pratt for sure. There's no question. He's the blandest third guy that could be in this movie.
Mario,
Garfield, and
I was gonna say,
he also has a
Garfield's
gigantic forehead like the brother does in the movie or in the games. He kind of does it. He doesn't look like the brother, but he looks like what he looks like. Like he is to Sam the same way that Tom Holland is to Nathan Drake.
I understand. Yes.
They already did the Spider-Man Star-Lord thing. They can't do it again here.
What could possibly stop them? If they think it's gonna work, it's gonna work. So that's great, isn't it?
It's something.
We love to see it, don't we, folks?
But guys, this movie, not good.
Guys.
Yay! Nando got there.
Do you guys? No, it's good. No, it's not very good. Do you guys have anything to recommend to the fine people? Do you want to get to our classic segment?
I wish that we would.
Yeah, I got a short little rec here. I'm sure this has been wrecked before, but whatever. Michelle and I have been playing a little game called It Takes Two. Nando, I think you've recommended this.
I did recommend this because I did play it. Yeah.
But it's been so long, I feel like I could do it again. So it's a multiplayer game where the premise is bananas. You're playing a married couple who's going through a divorce, but your daughter wishes you into little dolls to resolve your differences with a little racist book. And yeah, holy crap, it's a bananas game. But the actual gameplay of it is very good. Michelle and I just finished the elephant scene. Do you remember that, Nando?
I couldn't believe it. It's an insane thing to put in that video game.
It like Michelle's like, we gotta take a break from this. I was like, how long? She's just like a little bit, just a little break. It was like,
are you talking
Nothing
about
else in
the Game
is
Awards 2021's family game of the year?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy that's the case.
It is. It does feel like a lot of games smushed together, but that's more of an in-gameplay sense. That's the only moment to me where it feels like tonally just like, this is from a different game, right? You just wanted to put this in something else, so you're doing it here? But, so wait, you just did that thing?
Yeah.
I like all the stuff after that more than the stuff before. I think the next bits of the game are more fun.
Oh, good.
Not to say that the before stuff isn't as fun, but you get a little bit more freedom, so I'm excited for the rest of it.
Oh, that's good to hear. All right, yeah. Well, but yeah, we just decided to pick it up like last week because I don't know how it happened. I think she watched the Donkey video on it, or Donkey said something about it. So
yeah, he did.
It's because
we haven't.
It's because she's thinking of divorce, and so she needs to do a trial run of reconciliation to see if it will work out.
Yeah, watch
out. A
little
hint she's throwing my way.
If T'Challa starts playing with two toys that look surprisingly like you've got a problem.
Oh no.
Yep. I mean, not that much like you, but technically boy one and girl one.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever they're supposed to be.
But yeah, so I just thrown it out there as a rec for anybody who's looking for a 2-player digital game. We've been having fun with it, so it gets a little weird at parts and the narrative's kind of but Nano's it gets better, so that gives me hope. So yeah, that's all I got for this week.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Diggins, what about you?
I want to first just quickly underline a previous rec. We, of course, when it first started airing, wrecked Peacemaker. It's now over. It aired its finale last week, and I, for one, loved it. I thought the whole show was phenomenal. Really can't recommend it enough. So if that first rec didn't sell you, you should absolutely watch it now, because it's, and I'm sure you've heard this from lots of people and don't need this from me, but absolutely great show. As for a new rec, I finally finished streaming Resident Evil Village, and so I feel confident giving that my full rec now. It goes kind of, if you played Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 7 falls apart a little bit at the end. I think this game has a bit of that problem story-wise, but mechanically it holds itself together better than 7 did. So at least it's still fun to play while the story is shitting itself. But really, though, top to bottom, it's a really, really fun game. I think it's probably like mechanically the best Resident Evil since 4. It's just it builds on a lot of. It feels in a lot of ways like the sequel to 4, because it has a lot of similar story elements. They bring back a lot of mechanical elements that have been gone since then, like organizing items in the briefcase, upgrading your weapons, and it just feels so good to play. It just has that same care and attention put to controlling your character, moving your character, using all of the guns, the tension and build up of fights, the environments are all gorgeous, the bosses are all like super cool and like full of personality. It's just a really great like action horror game. So if you like any of those post Resident Evil 4 Resident Evil 4 and later Resident Evil games or style games like Evil Within, then it's one of the best ones. So you should definitely play it.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. I'm going to recommend, I watched a couple things this weekend, so I'll run through a couple quick ones. So, yeah, Peacemaker's still good. After Party's still good. High recommendation there. Watched a little bit of Letterkenny. Hadn't really watched that before, but I always wanted to get a look at it. I think it's great. I watched that movie Kimmy, where it's like, what if Alexa was Rear Window? Starring Catwoman and some other people, I guess. It's pretty good. Nice, short, little fun, Steven Soderbergh like movie. So I recommend it. I watched the Kingsman movie, the King's Man, which we'll talk about next week. I would not.
Is that what we're doing next week?
I guess so, right? Like it's on HBO and Hulu. Like it's everywhere. I've heard a lot of people have been saying they watched it.
Unless you cowards are finally willing to do Marry Me, I don't know what else we would do.
Yeah. Besides like another Batman-y thing, but yeah, I mean, Kingsman is a movie that is watchable in terms of like you can turn on your TV and watch it. Not that it is good.
Nando previewing his opinion.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about that. We also watched some of the Boeing documentary about how Boeing is bad, but it's one of those documentaries where like if you watch the news, you kind of know most of that stuff already. So like while it is interesting, I don't think it's like required reading. But it's kind of interesting. The only other thing I want to recommend, I'm reading a book, a series called The Other History of the DC Universe. So it is a comic. It came out last year, I believe. Written by John Ridley, who wrote like 12 Years a Slave and stuff. It's kind of like Marvel's, where it's like, what would these events in the history of the DC universe look like to a bystander? Except it's like that premise kind of, but it's through the eyes. So there's 4, I think, issues. So it's through the eyes of like a superhero, or at least superhero adjacent character of color. And it's like, man, the Justice League was racist and I was Black Lightning. And this is why that was interesting. And then but it's interesting because it weaves in with like real world events and like, that character's history and how they would see, like what does Black Lightning think of Superman? He likes him, right? But he's also like, when Superman comes to, his neighborhood and it's like, hey, stop beating up all those drug lords, you're breaking the law. What does this guy say to like Superman is like being an asshole? Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's mostly a book. It's a book with pictures, as opposed to a comic where there are like word bubbles and stuff. You could really just read this all in like a Twitter thread and get it. But it's cool. So it's like it's a denser comic than most, but it's a cool concept. I like it. So I'm 2 in, but that is the book club book this week. So have to get that done soon.
Nice.
Anyone got anything to plug?
Over here, just Roses and Rejections. We are getting to the hometowns of Clayton seasons of The Bachelor, so we only have a few weeks left, and then I don't know what we're covering. I saw Love is Blind season 2 came out, but I hate that show, so I don't know that I could watch it. And then there was another show Michelle mentioned to me. That's like a new sorry, I'm looking for this now and I'm not going to find it, but
is it a dating show?
Yeah, there's some kind of new dating show out there. The Courtship.
Everyone's on a ship.
March.
Yeah.
That would be amazing if that was the premise, but no, this is like some kind of show on NBC where
Rudy Giuliani is inside of a big lion costume, and everyone has to fall in love with him.
No, wait, hold on.
That.
The Courtship, it's that everyone is being legally getting a reverse restraining order by a judge where they can't be more than like 500 feet from the person that they're supposed to be dating at all times.
Genius.
And anyone who breaks that loses.
Okay, so I found the Us Weekly article. It's Bridgerton meets The Bachelorette. So it's the ultimate social experiment in romance where they go to a castle-laden rolling hills of Regency-style England where 16 men from all over the world, from Staten Island to South Korea, vie to win the heart of their leading lady, Nicole Remy. And so they're all in, like, I don't know how to describe this, like English style, like Hamilton. They're all dressed like Hamilton.
Or like Bridgerton, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like the thing the article specifically mentioned as a touchstone.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah. And they're all dressed like that, and she's in like a ball gown. So maybe we'll cover this show. It looks interesting.
Sounds dumb unless most of the show is them like trying to ride horses and failing. And like it's kind of a dating show, but the show is mostly about how these city folk aren't ready to like do jousting or whatever. And then I'd love it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Well, maybe I will get back to you on that one. But yeah, for now, just check out Roses and Rejections.
Diggins, you got anything to recommend?
You mean to plug?
Yeah, plug. Recommend yourself.
Well, I can't do that. But if you want to ignore my advice and seek out my stuff anyway, I have my newsletter, alittleperspective.substack.com, and I stream at twitch.tv/thisisanoddname. We finished up Resident Evil Village, like I said, so my friend Bridget and I are going to start up Inscription soon. And you can follow my Twitter to find out when.
I'm excited for that one. That game looked really fun.
Oh, I have not heard of this. I will look into it. Yeah, I don't have too much to plug. I have a video. I'm doing my X-Men casting video. It'll probably out before. It'll probably be out before the next one of these. So keep an eye out for that because it's good. Yeah, next week The Kingsman probably.
Nice. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Unless everyone yells at us on Twitter to do something else, right?
Yeah, we can stream the 355 apparently. So that's a movie.
Unless everyone on Twitter yells at us to do something else, in which case we'll find the polar opposite of that thing they want us to do and do that.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness,
a lot of fun stuff there. But until next week, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.